And welcome to Mariners Baseball, as this is the Rooftop Sports. But let's see if my microphone's working. Yes, it is working. So, welcome to Mariners Baseball once again. And must I say, what a horrible stretch that it has been for the Mariners. And let me see how bad that they have been over the past 10 games. Over the past 10 games, the Mariners are 2-8 and they are second place. They are tied with the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, and meanwhile, the Houston Astros, even without Yordan Alvarez, continues to roll along. They now have a 7-3 record as of now. I mean, it's not a big surprise at all that the Mariners, they've had a really horrible stretch. They just got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks in an absolute embarrassing fashion. And now the Mariners are back at home. And they are going to take on the Cleveland Guardians. And now, counting the games that I have done this season. So, yeah. Let me see how I've been doing. So, yep, I did my Mariners game for this season. And how many games have I done? I'm at game number 31, and the magic number is 69. That's what it is. And, yep, I guess I'm inching closer and closer, but by All-Star break, I'm probably not going to make it. And let me see where All-Star game is. The All-Star break would be. I think it's by the time we get to the, I'm just going to see when is the Mariners' last game until halftime. Let's find out. Looking at the Mariners schedule. Let me see where we at. So it looks like by All-Star break, it's going to be after the Detroit Tigers series. Ugh. The idea of playing the Detroit Tigers is just disgusting. And let's see where we are at. I would be at 49 games, so I would actually be at halftime by the time it is the All-Star break, that I'll be halfway towards the goal. And also, I'll be joined by my good friend Josh, my arch nemesis, the Astro fan, and he loves to laugh about it. And Josh, here we are, and looking at the standings, it just makes me want to throw up that you're 8 games above 500, and you're 3 games ahead in the division, 3.5, probably going to be 4.5 if the Mariners do not step up tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's also about to be 9 games above.
Yeah, I know, because they're absolutely dominating. And that's the thing. That's the amazing thing, that the Mariners, or the Astros, despite losing Kyle Tucker, they lost Justin Verlander. They lost a lot of players. Jose Altuve is playing left field, and the Astros still seem to figure it out to this day, that no matter who they lose, they still figure it out. So kudos to them.
It's like they get knocked down and then they get up again.
Yeah, and it's the funny thing too was the Mariners tanked in 2019 because they were willing to rebuild because they thought Houston and the A's were going to die off eventually, which they were correct about. The A's, they were correct about that, but the Astros, not so much.
The A's, it wasn't so much they died off, it was that they were murdered.
They were murdered. Yeah, murdered by John Fisher with his Execute Order 66 on the payroll. But besides the point, the Mariners are playing the Cleveland Guardians, who are 35-32, while the Mariners are 33-34. And up on the mound is going to be the La Piedra, Luis Castillo, going against Gavin Williams. And they're saying that the Mariners are favored to win. Yeah, if you go on betonline.com, I would probably put money on the, what's it called? Putting money on the Cleveland Guardians, because the Mariners are just absolutely in a losing streak. Now let's see exactly what is said.
I did was it today that you commented saying a maybe?
I did. I think I probably
said. And my response was priceless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alert the media! We have a maybe!
The crazy thing too was I was actually going to do the NBA Finals game, but the problem was at my don't quit your day job situation, 3 coworkers called out like simultaneously.
Oh.
So I couldn't leave work early enough to cover the NBA Finals, which I really wanted to do it because Oklahoma City Thunder, my ex-girlfriend, basically, I wanted to cover that team. But
now, I'm going to say,
yeah,
if the Pacers win, which would be hilarious, the Pacers win, I think you should do a reaction video and you start it like this.
Nah, I'll do that if the Pacers win at all. That's the thing.
Well, that's their signature move, but also, okay, see, you had a cakewalk.
They did, but I guess the greatness of Therese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam were heavily underestimated. I mean, let's not forget, Pascal Siakam is a former NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors. And by the way, with the NBA Finals going on, during commercial break, I will be doing a little bit of a play-by-play reaction with the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So commercial break, you'll still be kept entertained in the meantime. So while waiting on yeah.
Did you see this is a little off topic, but did you see how many Switch 2s Nintendo sold?
Too much?
3.5 million in 4 days.
I guess the 3.5 million people they're probably not going to jailbreak their Switches. I think that's the safe thing to say. The thing is, I'll buy the Switch too if they give me Rogue Leader.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but speak of, I need to upload all of my videos.
So you know what you do? You just get angry at the softball and you just try to kill it. That's definitely going to make it to where you don't hit any pop-ups.
Playing angry actually makes it worse.
Oh yes, that's why I was saying.
Yeah, I have about 5 videos, so I do have a treat for all of you, as I am uploading them right now. Yep, they are uploading. And before the game starts, which one do you want to watch? World Series Baby or Dom Canzone crapping out? Which one's more funny?
World Series Baby.
World Series Baby.
My point is it's across all Seattle sports. It's this idea, like people pleading 3-4 years ago to bring back Ichiro.
Yeah,
when Ichiro's like 93 years old. I'm like, no, I do not want to bring back Ichiro. Like Griffey when he's got a walker out there and he gives you a single every 60 games. Like the list goes on and on. Like people crying. Like Haniger comes back, and you think that we just signed a Hall of Famer. Like he was injured all of last year. He's like 33 years old. We trade for him, give up on Robbie Ray, which whatever, and all of a sudden, I swear, all of Twitter is like, "World Series, baby! Let's go! Let's go!" He was a negative WAR player for them last year, but because we love Hanny, baby. He's going to come and save the Mariners.
That is by far the best Mariners fan rant video.
It gets funnier every time.
I know. World Series, baby!
Griffey with a walker.
Ichiro when he's 93 years old.
No. Jamie Moyer when he's over 100.
World Series, baby! Oh, Polanco is back. World Series, baby! Oh, but we got Stephen Kwan coming up to the plate. Well, we got the La Piedra, Luis Castillo, and also I will be monitoring very closely with the Oklahoma City Thunder game and the Indiana Pacers. And right now, Pacers are up by 2, 62-60, but that doesn't mean much at all because it's going to be a very close game, and it could be a very close series as Siakam for 3, and he misses. Why are they shooting threes? And they give the ball back. But here's the first pitch brought to you by SeatGeek, and that is going to be right in there for a strike, and we are underway here at T-Mobile Park. By the way, do you think Friday the 13th is real? As we have Luis Castillo, and now here is the pitch, and that's going to be popped up. And speak of, I think I'm going to change that change the title to Friday the 13th. Yeah, I think it's safe to do that.
Yeah.
No, it's too late. It won't let me. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up to left field. Need a little bit of hustle. And Randy Arozarena, of course, he misses it because lack of hustle is really a thing with him.
He's all, I gotta do my pose.
Yeah, the little poser thing.
Well, every time I think of Randy Arozarena, I think the fact that Mexico literally expedited him to be a Mexican citizen so he could play in the World Baseball Classic for them was just kind of ridiculous.
What, he's representing Mexico, the pitch. I guess the Dominican Republic nation must be very saturated.
Well, I'm trying to think. Where is he from? Is he from Cuba? I'm pretty sure he's from Cuba.
He was from Dominican Republic, the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, and Julio was there, and he makes the catch. Let's find out. I will probably do the coverage of the NBA Finals in commercial break. When it's like the last 2 minutes, then I'm going to direct my attention, especially if the Mariners. Cuba. He's a Cuban escape, because why would he want to play for a nation that was absolutely plagued by the Castro family? Yes. I have to say it quietly. And now the pitch, and here it is. And that is a strike. And I know a lot of Cuban friends, and they're devastated what has happened to their homeland. That's why they're all in Florida.
Yeah. Well, that's also why Miami gets the World Baseball Classic every year.
Yeah. 0-1.
Every time it comes around.
And that is a foul ball. And that is Manzardo, who's batting .210. I think he went there before coming here, since Cuban refugees have to go somewhere else first. Ugh.
And most typically go to the Dominican, and then they usually try to go to Mexico.
The 0-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is 2 outs. I think Yordan Alvarez was also a Cuban escape.
Yeah, he is.
I heard, and you know, it's another crazy thing. Imagine if Jose Altuve never got that chance. He'd possibly be starving in Venezuela, or probably would have just played somewhere else.
Well, for one, he probably wouldn't be playing baseball, and there's a good chance he might not even be alive anymore.
That is a very good chance, and it's a very sad story what Venezuela has turned into. Yeah. Venezuela used to be way up there with Colombia and Brazil, and now look where they are. They were actually better than them, and now the 0-1. And that's going to be popped up, not in terms of GDP. Brazil was still ahead of them, but Venezuela was making really good progress with their oil resources.
And then they nationalized everything, and it all went
all to the core. And now we're now looking at the 0-2 for Ramirez.
Just giving you your.
And now here's the pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is going to retire the side. What a very easy inning for Luis Castillo, an easy 1-2-3 inning as we go to the bottom of the first inning. And first, we got to do a cute little commercial by Sahara Pizza. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara Pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara Pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
There's that. So if you want some Sahara Pizza, and the deal's actually going to go through the rest of summer, actually. Still looking for that customer. I'm basically the YouTube Sahara Pizza salesman at this point. And Indiana is actually leading by 4. And we are back from the break, and it's going to be J.P. Crawford who is about to be ready. And Indiana just buried a 3 to make it 71-64. Indiana is continuing to bury them. And now here is the pitch to J.P. Crawford, and that is going to be a ball. So by the way, would you say it's coincidence, or you think it is Friday the 13th that I was supposed to have the Pacers and the Thunder NBA Finals game lined up, the 1-0, and that's going to be popped up, and that actually could be playable. Nope, out of play. So do you think the fact that 3 co-workers would call out simultaneously when I had the NBA Finals game, or do you think it was just coincidence? Or do you think that was just Friday the 13th being Friday the 13th?
Well, could be a few things. Your coworkers, they could be, Sonics fans.
The 1-1.
Gotta go watch my team.
Ball.
So, I'm sick. I'm definitely sick.
I feel like that. I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to say too much information about it.
But it could be, coincidence. But, sometimes things happen on Friday the 13th.
Well, it better come up with a Mariners victory. That's what I need. And the Pacers winning. As we're at the 1-2 pitch. And now here's the pitch to Crawford. And now here's a ground ball. And that's going to get right through for a base hit. And J.P. Crawford gets on the base with a single. And also throughout the game, you'll be seeing some of my very special softball highlights that you may have seen by now.
Seen a few of them.
I also have an entire game footage worth of stuff too. Maybe I've thought of posting it. Like if you're a member, you'll have access to game footage. I think that's another dynamic that I want to do for the members of my channel, which is $5 a month a pitch. And that's going to be a strike. And this is Julio Rodriguez, who, by the way, has improved. He has picked it up. He's batting .262. But I'm still going to make that video criticizing him.
Yeah.
He still deserves it. He needs that extra oomph of motivation.
You're talking,
Now, here's a fly ball to left field, and it's shallow. And he makes the catch. That's Stephen Kwan, and that's going to keep J.P. Crawford at first base. Has got Gavin Williams with a 4-seamer, sweeper, curveball, cutter, and sinker. For Game 5, I'll be covering the NBA Finals only for the second half. So I'll at least do the second half, which I think is, but the Mariners are playing too. So I have to have a decision. Like, do I want to do the Mariners game? Or do I want to, Game 5 is a pretty big cookie. Now here's Cal
it really just depends on how the games are going. If one is going really bad, I probably wouldn't cover it.
No, I think I will do it either way. Or if Oklahoma's up 20, I'm going to be like, the Mariners game.
Yeah.
And now here's Cal Raleigh. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. That is ball 2. If Oklahoma wins, Sonics fans are really going to be boasting about it. If Oklahoma loses, Sonics fans will be very boasty about it. They'll say, the Sonics curse is real.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you let an
up high for a ball 3-0
team beat you, that's
pretty much. Yeah.
Well, and the thing was when the Nuggets won, people were discussing, well, what are the chances of the other two, breaking their droughts?
Droughts, yeah.
And then everyone's all like, no, they have
3-0.
no chance ever.
And that is a strike. Oklahoma is 1 for 2 in their 3-point shooting. Wow. It's pretty bad. The thing
Not even a lot of attempts either.
Do you think, as we got Cal Raleigh on a 3-1, and now here's the pitch, and check swing, did he go? He did go. Of course he did. Now, do you think Oklahoma winning the NBA Finals helps the NBA expedite an expansion? Because it'll be like, oh man, those suffering Sonics fans. Or do you think the result has no effect?
I don't think it has any effect. Like,
I'm going to put emotion in front of business.
If say it was like they were talking about expansion and possibly putting a team back in Seattle to repair the Sonics. And this was a few years after the Sonics left, like when OKC did their big run at first. And they were talking about, hey, let's do an expansion to put a team back here. We're going to discuss it. Had OKC won it, there might have been something to play in there.
They are discussing it over the summer in July. So,
yeah. And also, it's probably going to be the exact same time that NHL is expanding because they just, I think, opened it up for consideration of putting a team back in Atlanta.
Oh, my goodness. Indiana Pacers scored again. Now they're up 8.
Yep, just got to keep laying it on. Well, because the thing was for the Thunder is once the Rockets were eliminated, the Thunder had an easy walk to the finals. Like the Rockets were the only one that in their side of the
conference.
In the conference, they were the only one that had given them some consistent
No,
trouble.
it was Denver did too. They gave them a 7-game series.
Yeah, Denver was
and
the other one.
And then
once those two
the
were
Timberwolves, the Timberwolves just crapped out badly.
Well, they were just outclassed.
Pretty much. A 3-1 series lead could be looming for. Man, I really want to do that NBA Finals game, but because I had an opportunity to cover an entire Mariners game, couldn't pass that up. And now we're at 2-0. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike one to Jorge Polanco.
You know, one thing bad about the design of this cup is you can't drink it head on because the ears stab you in the eyes.
As we're at 2-1, and Oklahoma got their 3-pointer. They just answered. Now the 2-1 and low for a ball, 3-1. They're one ball away from loading the bases, but the problem is Randy Arozarena is going to be up to the plate. The poser boy.
Yep. Also, I've been looking at the hits list. Altuve's getting close to passing Jeff Bagwell. Sadly,
we're looking at
3-1,
and now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike, but that was below the knees. But the umpire, well, he calls it his way. He just wants to make it as interesting as he could possibly make it to be.
Well, yeah. Now, I will say in some cases, if the pitcher's been pitching well, now it's early in the game, so this is a moot point here. But if the pitcher's been pitching well, usually the umps give them a little bit more.
And now the 3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3 off of a 3-1 count. Jorge Polanco ends up striking out, and it was at a very unideal pitch.
Well, you know what this reminds me of, talking about the strike calls, is it was the Astros-Rays series when they were in Houston, and it was, what was it, Taylor Walls? And it's a 1-0 game, and it's the 9th inning, and Hader's up to pitch. And Hader this season has been lights out.
He has been much better than last season, as he struggled throughout last season.
And he does a pitch, and it is maybe this much.
As we're at 1-0 for Randy Arozarena, the pitch. And that's actually going to be up high for a ball. 2-0.
Like this much from the strike zone? Maybe. And the ump calls strike. And Walls is pissed.
I would be too.
Yeah. Though, as I see it, Hader's been very much on.
And
so
the 2-0. Low for a ball, 3-0.
A little bit there. But then what Walls makes it a lot worse, because what does he do? He takes a timeout while still being mad about that call. And then he turns and looks at the ump, and he argues with the ump for a little bit. And then he decides, okay, fine. And then he fixes his helmet.
Nothing happening.
And then as he fixes his helmet, he looks at the ump and he does this. And the ump tosses him.
Of course he does.
Funny thing is, the MLB actually issued a memo at the beginning of the season.
3-0. And that's a strike. And Arozarena was preparing to walk when it was literally right in the strike zone. Like, what are you doing, Randy?
But
this guy's a clown.
But yeah, the MLB had put out a memo at the beginning of the season saying any players that do this to
pitch. And that is a strike again. He missed the strike zone, but the umpire is not letting him have it. It was below the strike zone. Like, I don't like blaming umpires, but this umpire is doing a terrible job with
umps have been very bad, but they said so if you did that, because they knew why you were doing it, they said
and now the 3-2 pitch. And that is actually ball 4, take your base, and the bases are loaded for the Burger King man. So let's see what he can do.
Maybe he can get the Big Mac. He can get the Big Mac.
Let's get the Big Mac.
Yeah, get the Big Mac.
And now we got pitching coach coming out, and he's pretty much just saying, hey, it's just right. It's the Mariners. He sucks. He'll be fine. He'll be okay.
Every time I see a coach or the manager come out to talk to a pitcher, I'm just all like imagining the conversation. He's just like, dude, you suck. Get out.
Yeah, get out.
But so going back to that situation, MLB said the umps had perfect, like, if a player did that to them, they had every right to throw them out. And so he gets thrown out on a pitch that is literally this outside of the strike zone. And it makes it even worse because if you watch his blow up goes for 3 or 4 minutes. He has to be restrained by multiple players and staff members.
TK is expecting Randy to strike a pose when he takes a ball 4. And now here's Rowdy Tellez. Now the pitch.
Just imagine that.
And that is a strike. Yeah, I can see it.
Just.
Oh, he'll strike a pose when he strikes out.
World Series, baby.
As now we're at 0-1 for Rowdy Tellez. 5 career grand slams. Last time was against Toronto. And the pitch. And that is going to be a foul ball, strike 2. Yeah, you probably saw it when I literally lost my you-know-what.
Yeah, I remember that. What was that the game that you said the Mariners have outscored the Mariners?
Yes, it's like, it's the Mariners this and the Mariners that.
And I was all like, wait a minute, did I hear that correct?
The 0-2, and that is outside for a ball, 1-2. I'm still crushed I'm not doing the NBA Finals game. I still am. I'm still very just bummed.
Now, which do you think has been a more exciting series out of the two, even if you don't watch it? NHL or NBA?
NHL. The 1-2.
So many games have gone to overtime there.
Exactly. And that's going to be 2-2 for Rowdy Tellez as he's actually somewhat being patient at the plate.
Now, do we think, is Florida going to go back-to-back, or do we think Canada's finally going to break their drought?
Depending where the series is at right now, as we're at 2-2 for Rowdy Tellez, and now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul, and it looked like he was going to strike out on that one.
Jose Altuve's been pulled from the game for Cesar Salazar, or Caesar Salad, as some people like to call him.
Now, what would you like to see next? Would you like to see a softball highlight or that Randy Johnson video when he literally just chewed out Howard Lincoln?
Oh, the Randy Johnson one. That was priceless.
Now, here's a ground ball, and that's actually going to be a play at first base, and the Mariners once again leave the bases loaded.
Astros is also 2-10.
And now let's get to Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson called out the Mariners organization. After the excitement of Randy Johnson getting his number retired for the Seattle Mariners, he was invited by the Seattle Mariners to talk with Aaron Goldsmith and Angie Mentic during the Mariners Diamondback series. Here's what he had to say.
I think if they were expecting me to go in as a Seattle Mariner in the Hall of Fame, then why didn't Howard Lincoln circle back at some point when I retired to make me feel like, my 10 years of contribution there, especially in 95 when I won the Cy Young 18-2 in the most important year to this point right now. Sure. I just felt like that under his leadership, I felt the 10 years of my contribution were kind of swept under the carpet.
Howard Lincoln is still part of the Mariners as a board member. To add more context to that, after the 1997 season, the Mariners refused to discuss a contract extension with Randy Johnson. And to make it worse, Former Mariners president Chuck Armstrong stated this: "Talking further along those money lines was a waste of time, good only as PR eyewash." So it really made sense why Randy Johnson struggled in the first half of the 1998 season due to those distractions and a turbulent relationship with the upper management. And because of that, I didn't blame him for choosing the Arizona Diamondbacks for the Hall of Fame, even at the time.
Oh, I'm going to say this is imagine this. Imagine he picked Houston.
Yeah, but the timing wouldn't have been right because Houston and the Mariners were not exactly
no,
rivals.
Just because of that. Like
he did
felt
have Hall of Fame
out,
numbers with
and then
Houston.
He goes to Houston. He's all, I'm finally away from them.
Yeah, he'll be really
if he had
away
done
from them.
that,
Yeah.
I would have. It would have been so funny because everyone would have just called
Now the
Mariners
pitch,
out.
and that is inside for a ball. This is Carlos Santana, the guy that the Mariners were actually going for, but even with more money, he still declined because he was like, "I'm not going to deal with John Stanton." The pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball, 2-0, and Indiana is up 82-76.
Ooh.
Now we're at 2-0 for Santana. Now the pitch, and that's going to be popped up and fouled.
You love to see it.
Oklahoma missed another shot. They're really struggling in this quarter. Now the pitch, foul ball, strike 2. Now we're at 2-2. But dude, because of don't quit your day jobs and everything, I missed game 1. And now the pitch. And that is strike 3 called, and off of a 2-0 count, Carlos Santana strikes out, and now he's having words with the umpire saying that his strike zone is terrible, which I do agree. Now both sides are now acting very concerned about that strike zone.
But just don't tap your helmet. That'll get you thrown out.
Yeah, you know what? I could use a helmet tap. Just get him out. It seemed that was kind of a makeup call against Jorge Polanco, and that is a swing and a miss. Either it was a makeup call or he's just really, really bad with his strike zone. Now we're at 0-1 for Daniel Schneemann, and now the pitch, and that is going to be a foul ball, strike 2 already, as Indiana is going to the free throw line, and he makes it. It's going to be 83-76.
Well, wow, you're already letting them go. Let's see how much time.
Now we're at 0-2, and that is going to be outside for a ball. But here's the thing: Oklahoma, even if they lose the finals this year, they'll have plenty of opportunities in the next 5 years to win it all. Plenty of opportunities.
You would think. I'm just going to say
1-2. That is a foul ball. But at the same time, would Oklahoma players, do they really want to stay in a market like Oklahoma? It's not exactly the most attractive market either. So that's something that Oklahoma has going against them.
The Suns.
What about the Suns?
A few years ago, they made it to the finals, and they've.
Well, Suns are different. The pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Cal Raleigh. Throw to first, and that gets away. Bad throw by Cal Raleigh, and now we got the man on second base.
Oof. But even though you might look stacked, it could just you could sadly get a one chance at it, and if you blow it, you blow it.
Well, Cal Raleigh certainly blew that throw. It was not a good throw by Cal Raleigh.
I'm voting for all my Houston Astros players to get to the All-Star game.
Oh my goodness. Indiana is just straight up abusing Oklahoma. Now it's 86-76.
Yeah, Indiana, I think this is theirs.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, for how OKC is played, like even in their series where they looked dominant, there was moments where they just didn't even though they were winning by a lot, they just didn't look like they were being challenged at all. And now that they've hit a challenge, they're kind of struggling.
I don't know what to say. as we're at 1-1 for Lane Thomas.
So today's picks are all the Houston Astros and all the Milwaukee Brewers.
And the pitch. And outside for a ball. TK says, is Oklahoma still looking to build the tallest building in America? Heard they were planning an entertainment complex with that mine.
Why?
I don't know. Because Oklahoma is desperate to draw people. They really are. But they are a growing real estate market still.
They
And that was
are.
the pitch. And that is a strike. I mean, it helps when it's like really cheap. It's way cheaper than where people are moved from.
Well, what they really need to do is, if they really wanted to get people in, get rid of the state income tax.
And that could be the
Well, because literally that's why
Too.
Texas gets so many people.
and Washington.
Well, yeah.
But Washington
But
makes
Washington
up for it with
drives
really bad
people away
taxes.
still.
Yeah, because of terrible taxes. And if you're a landlord in Washington, and if someone squats your house or someone doesn't pay your rent, you're screwed.
Yep.
Now we're at 2-2.
And of course, Texas and Florida have their own
Pitch.
issues.
Oh, and a fly ball to left field, but Randy Rosarena, thank God, is there, and he makes the catch. That's big
He
deal.
actually, just imagine you see one time that there's just a really high pop up and he's running over to it, but he's running in his pose
Probably.
and just he does this in his
He's the
pose,
poser man.
catches it. I'm all like, if he did that, I would pay good money. I'd just be like, here, have my money. Hey, look, Ty France got a home run.
Oh, I missed Ty France. And now the pitch. And that is going to be a
5
strike.
homers for the season.
Oklahoma loses the ball again. Indiana has the ball with being up 10 points. Seattle fans are really happy about this.
Honestly, I'm all I was rooting. Once the Rockets were eliminated, I was rooting for the Pacers.
By the way, the side was retired because my feed is behind. But now let's look at. Wait, let's see who's up next. Oh, Dom Canzona's up. You know what that means? I have a special treat for you again.
Ooh.
The 0-2 pitch.
You gotta love these guys.
He literally just swing. He
Oh my
literally
God.
jet swinged
None
at the
of those
dirt.
were in the strike zone.
It wasn't even in the strike zone, and he chuck swinged it. Like, why?
Like, literally, that wasn't Taylor Scott being good. That was
It was
just
really
you just
bad.
swinging at crap.
Yeah, that was.
And maybe he
still
hit
gets
a
me.
home run, because the last time you showed that, he hit a home run.
Well, maybe that's why I did it. So I think I'm gonna do it every time. Every time he's up, just for the funny. But I'm gonna say it's about Dom Canzone. He either has the second most beautiful swing I've ever seen with a home run, or he has the most ugliest strikeout swing possible.
So he's 2 true outcomes.
At least you know what you might get.
Yeah.
And now Oklahoma, they've cut it to within an 8-point lead. And Indiana is floating, and they miss, but they draw the foul.
Well, and Oklahoma's got to be careful because they probably have a bit of foul trouble.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know exactly what the fouls are, but if you were getting free throws at that point, now I don't know if it was bonus or not, but probably means that you've done a lot of fouls.
Pascal Siakam's at the line, and he makes the free throw to put them up 9. Let's put it this way: if the New York Knicks were in the finals, Oklahoma would have stomped them to pieces. The pitch, and that is a strike.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it's the
think
freaking
if any
Knicks.
other team other than the Pacers were in, it's OKC's.
Cavaliers, Boston, anything.
Cavs were washed in. Once
0-1. Up high for a ball, 1-1.
once the Celtics got a few injuries, you knew they were done.
They were cooked. As Canzone is at 1-1 so far. He's taken over for Leody Taveras. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. Canzone is at least batting 200, which is okay for his level. But he did hit that 2-run home run that nearly brought the Mariners to a victory and maybe end that losing streak. And now the 1-2. Now he reaches it, and that's a ground ball to the pitcher, and he didn't have to swing at that. And that again, he made a really bad swing. It was way outside the strike zone. He was swinging at crap.
Yeah. Let's see. Looking at ESPN, trying to figure out, like, where's the foul?
And now next up to the plate is Ben Williamson, the rookie, batting 255. For the criticism that he's gotten, he's still batting more efficiently than most of the team. And that is, he's taking it for a strike. And that is a 0-1 count on Ben Williamson.
Okay, so both have 17 fouls for the game currently on
0-1.
3.
And that is going to be a strike. 0-2.
But in OKC's case, if they cannot retake the lead, those 17 fouls are going to really start hurting you.
0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That was on the... No, that was actually a foul ball. As long as Dom Canzone is on the team, I'm going to show that video every time he's up to the plate.
Because how many fouls is it for a
player to be
NBA?
disqualified? It's 6 fouls. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a 1-2. And it's actually 5 team fouls in each quarter that would trigger the free throw no matter what the foul is. Which is why the announcer's like, and that is the 5th team foul penalty. And the 1-2. And check swing, did he go? He did not go. And that is a 2-2. These ridiculous check swings are going on.
Well, because the reason why I ask, because I'm so used to college where it's like, is it 4 or is it 5? And then
now we're at 2-2 for Ben Williamson.
7th foul that triggers the bonus, and the 10th foul that triggers the double bonus.
And now the 2-2 pitch. And that is ball 3. 3-2 for Ben Williamson. On deck will be Cole Young, the rookie.
Minnesota's suffering is over.
Oh, shoot. Houston won. Now we're at 3-2. The pitch. Outside for ball 4, take your base. And Ben Williamson fought all the way just to get on first base.
Houston in their last 2 games has lost 2 in their starting lineup, that being Isaac Paredes and Melton.
Oh, it's not Isaac Paredes. It's Isaac Paredes.
Yeah. It's when I always hear him being announced, it's always Isaac Paredes.
And now here's the rookie Cole Young. He has 3 RBIs, batting 222. The pitch, and that is outside for a ball. And Reese Beast, how's it going? One of the passionate fans of my channel. You were also met by the best Houston fan. And yes, I'm absolutely ready for a defeat. I'm ready for Oklahoma to come back and get a victory themselves. Now the 1-0.
No,
that is going to be 2-0.
No.
Yes,
No.
Oklahoma's coming back. It's in the bag, baby.
World Series, baby.
Now we're at 2-0. Oh, the throw to first, not in time. As an OKC fans, I don't see it in them. You don't. So what don't you see with Oklahoma? So what are they losing? And now we're at 2-0 for Cole Young. And that's the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. So you say they're too young. I don't buy that. I think that's just an excuse. Don't you think? I don't think youth has anything to do with it.
The Rockets, you can make that excuse with.
Sure, but Oklahoma,
not Oklahoma.
They should be a battle-tested team by now. They have Caruso.
Well, and that actually thinking about that is probably why
2-1.
it's going to be a lot harder for the Thunder here on out, is because the Rockets are going to get better.
But Golden State is going to maybe implode soon, and as we're looking at 2-0 for Cole Young.
But the Rockets have a really good team already, and they got the 10th pick.
Where'd they get the 10th pick from?
Draft lottery.
2-2. And now here's a pop up to center field. Yeah, but where'd they get that pick from in the lottery? Like they've had to get that pick.
Well, honestly, I have no idea like where they got it from.
Luckily,
several playoff teams were in, like the Mavs. The Mavs were a playoff team, and they got the number 1 pick.
Luckily, the Rockets, when they negotiated the trade with for Russell Westbrook, at least I think some of those picks were just draft swaps, or like, if you don't get the top 3 pick, it goes back to Houston or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of pick protections. Now Clippers was literally lottery unprotected. I think Houston at least did some lottery protections, but Clippers were like, nah, we're going all in for Paul George. NBA Finals, baby.
I'm all like, you know what they should just do? They should just say, screw LA. We're going back to Buffalo.
No, just have a Bomber just takes the team to Seattle. He's a Seattle guy.
Or just move it back to San Diego like they should.
But he can't because he's already committed to a really state-of-the-art stadium. 0-1 for JP Crawford, the pitch.
A really low fiddle.
That's outside for a ball, 1-1.
In LA when it comes to sports.
And now we're at 1-1.
You got the Dodgers and the Lakers way up here.
And now the pitch. Outside for a ball, 2-1.
You then have like the college football teams, the Angels, and they're kind of here. And then you got the Clippers way down here. And then
2-1.
That,
and a sharp ground ball foul.
And then way below the Rams, you got the Chargers because LA just doesn't care about their home NFL teams nearly as much as they do their other teams. Don't.
Well, yeah, of course. Like they have plenty of time to get it right next time.
They do, but with Houston coming up,
2-2.
It's going to be harder.
Outside for a ball, but Golden State is going down.
And also, if the Spurs stay healthy, they got a lot of picks this year. They got several top picks this year.
So yeah, Oklahoma. Yeah, they have the window. So I guess what you're saying is they better hurry up.
Yeah, because Houston's coming, the Spurs are coming, and there are a few other teams that are also in the mix as well.
Lakers are dying off because Doncic is not going to be enough.
Minnesota could get their act together as well.
They won't. I don't see it.
I don't think they will, but they could. And
I wouldn't count on it. Oklahoma is starting to make a little bit of a comeback.
There's time.
And now there's a 3-2 for JP Crawford. And now the pitch. And now here's a liner. Oh, caught! That was caught by the second baseman. Leaping catch. And that is going to retire the side. An excellent catch by Cleveland. And you know what? Let's see if I have any highlights that may be as good as that one. Let's find out. The worst part of that play was I actually had to play at third base, and instead, I went to second base? That's why you got to pay attention. Yeah, clearly that was taunting, wasn't it? Nah, I'm not bothered by that. And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month, or join my Patreon page for just $5 a month. Link to Patreon page will be in the comments. Yes, I put in my thoughts of how that game went, and yeah, pretty brutal that I didn't see. The problem was I didn't check the runner at second and first, so there was a problem there, and that arguably cost a few runs. And I also had an easy play at first base in a different play, but I tried to be the hero, go to second, try to get the double play, and I threw it to an inexperienced shortstop, so that did not help.
Oh yeah, that doesn't.
Should have just took the easy out, so not good. Oh, William Cook with throwing in $10. Way to go, sir. And now the magic number is 40. Wow, I guess it did work out. I guess that's what the Don't Quit Your Day Job was about, because it was saying, hey, but you get $10 coming your way. I don't know if I would have gotten that for the NBA Finals game. So I will take it. As we're still on commercial break, and with commercial break still going on, I might as well just show what have I done that was good.
I got it. The Supersonics that come back with a sponsor. You know who their sponsor is? Imagine this.
Microsoft.
Blockbuster.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
It's one of the only things that you can say the Pacific Northwest has that no one else does.
Yeah, in Bend, Oregon.
Yep, I've been there. That's how I got this shirt.
You went to Bend, Oregon?
Well, my family, we happened to be doing a vacation, hitting all the national parks up in that part of the country, and I said, "I
looks like there's a conversation going on between Stephen Vogt and the umpire. Must be about the strike zone controversy that the umpire has caused."
Probably. But yeah, I said I wanted to go to Bend, Oregon because I wanted to see Blockbuster.
I wonder what that conversation was about.
And you go buy Blockbuster t-shirts and merchandise.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And a swing and a miss, and that is strike one.
I still do not get how the Marlins got swept by the Rockies.
It's baseball. And now the 0-2.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, strike two.
The Rockies are just really bad, though. So the fact that you got swept by them is embarrassing.
Hey, it could happen to the Mariners at the end of the season.
It could, though. That would just be icing. Like that.
Oh, look, Indiana is now they are now getting their lead trimmed. And now we are at Jones. And by the way, Cleveland got it out. Now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field. Forget about that one. That goes into the J-Rod squad. And Jones hits that home run. And now it is Cleveland 1 and the Mariners nothing, as Nolan Jones just destroyed that ball. And that's one of the tendencies and habits of Luis Castillo, is he does give up a home run initially. But now it's 1-0 Cleveland. And that was just absolutely smashed. And Jones squad. Yeah, pretty much.
At least the pitcher wasn't, Scott Blewett.
Yeah, Scott blew it. You blew it. So this could happen. Mariners lose, and Indiana blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Skull emoji.
It wasn't a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. It was more like 4.
And now here's a liner to right field, and that is going to be a foul ball.
Oh.
What another 2025 Rockies fact. They have won more games in June so far than the Mariners?
Yeah. Yeah. That
emoji.
Is because they've swept the Marlins, because I'm pretty sure that was this month, and they beat the Giants somehow. Like the Giants gave up
Now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and that is gone.
Oh my God.
Another home run for the Cleveland Guardians, back-to-back home runs, and that is by Stephen Kwan. And now it is Cleveland 2 and the Mariners nothing. And also on top of that, Oklahoma has just cut it to a 1-point lead and stole the ball. What a perfect storm against the Seattle fans.
I'm all like Oklahoma, though. They're up to 19 fouls, so they got to be careful.
Back-to-back home runs given up.
They're racking up those fouls quick.
And that was a putback jam by Chet Holmgren. And now the pitch to Manzardo, and that is a strike. Just a week ago, the Mariners podcast was talking about how few home runs. Yep. Was that the Marine Layer podcast? And now we're at the 0-1 and a swing and a miss, and that is strike two.
Let us see. Okay. Mariners have won. 1.
Oh, broadcast. You were talking about the broadcast. Oh, yeah. Well, they
Oh my
jinx it.
God.
They jinx everything. And now the pitch. Swinging a foul ball. And by the way, Oklahoma is on the verge of taking a 1-point lead.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Locked On Mariners, huh? They don't really like me. As now we're at 0-2 for Manzardo.
Oh my God. You want to know
And
the
the
sad
pitch.
thing is, it's not just
And
that
the
they
foul
have
ball.
4 wins. They have double the amount of wins the Mariners have.
That's just sad.
Yes, the Mariners have only won 2 games in this month.
Indiana just scored to make it 91-89. And now we're at 0-2 for Manzardo. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Cole Young. He kind of tripped in the throw to first in time. And that is going to be 2 outs.
Because I just looked up the schedules and I was all like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He let Stephen Kwan go yard off him. Skull emoji.
And the bad thing is about this is because the Rangers won. Let's see, where are they? They are almost with the Mariners as well. So if you don't want to fall behind the Rangers as well.
We're at 0-1 for Ramirez. The pitch inside for a ball, and that nearly hit him.
The only one that is still a little ways off that you don't have to worry about is the Athletics.
1-1.
They went on a
And
really bad stretch there for a
They
bit.
really have, and now it's 2-1. Roster moves. Logan Evans just got optioned, and Zach Pop has been called up. Now 2-1 for Ramirez. And a swing and a miss, strike 2, 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Wow. Hopefully you did not have Yamamoto on your fantasy team. He's only in the 3rd inning and he's almost 70 pitches.
I don't have him. I didn't want to draft him.
Now
the 2-2 for Ramirez, and now the pitch. That is up high for a
just gave
ball.
up a grand slam.
Nice.
Oh, you love to see it because it's the Dodgers.
Well, there was a YouTube channel called You Love to See It. 3-2.
Ooh.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will retire the side. But however, Cleveland does score 2 runs, and now they lead 2-0. And let's watch a. Oh, I got one. This is a good one.
Got it, Greg. That's Greg.
And he has a good throwing arm. And he's also a basketball player in the Special Olympics. And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month, or join my Patreon page for just $5 a month. Link to Patreon page will be in the comments. Yeah, so basically, I think showing these clips is an excuse for me to advertise my memberships.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the tournament. That was the regionals tournament before they got to state. And we got to state. And then when we got drawn in the knockout stages, we got drawn by the cheaters of the team. The guy that can dunk, and he claimed, well, something. I can't say it out loud.
Oh, no. It just makes me think of the Paralympics.
And I wonder how many people have gamed the system in those games, maybe. Who knows?
Well, I don't know if you can still claim, mental disabilities for Paralympics anymore. They might have gotten rid of that just because of what happened that time.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Special Olympics was mental.
Yeah, and Special Olympics better find a way to crack down on that, because I think that team needs to be held accountable. Especially when our team was a B team caliber, but then they moved us to an A tier caliber.
Yeah. And some years that just I'm going to say that some years it does
Here's
happen.
pitch to Julio, and a swing and a miss, strike one, and he loves swinging and missing just like that.
Is because there was one time that because when I was going through school, that the district actually had a Special Olympics program.
Oh, one, and that is a strike.
And they provided several sports, and those people were so amazing because they got paid nothing to do this, and they just took this time out because they wanted to, and they were
too. Now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a fair ball headed towards the corner. Julio Rodriguez is on his way to second base. Helmet flies off, and he gets in there with an easy stand-up double.
Throw the trident to him so he can wave it around.
World Series, baby!
Just imagine they throw the trident out and he starts waving it around.
Did you see the video where? Did you see the video where I was calling out Logan Gilbert for taunting with his trident thing? And fans got
they didn't get a home run or win another game in that series.
Yeah, I said that was a horrible idea. I said, which is why I said don't poke the bear, and they did poke the bear.
And it is Houston, you know. This happens.
Don't do that. And now here's Cal Raleigh up to the plate, the pitch, and a swing and a miss, and he is really trying to he's trying to blast it out of there.
And there is no Iron Man to save you.
Nope.
It is.
We're at 0-1 for Cal Raleigh. And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball, and that is strike two. And Oklahoma's defense is extremely tightening.
But yeah, going back to Special Olympics there. So 1 year, because what it would be is once you got to a certain age.
0-2.
You would go in.
And that's going to be popped up, and that is easily going to be playable. And he is there. And that is Ramirez who makes the catch, and that is going to be one out, and it's going to be up to Randy Arozarena.
Well, no, it's Polanco.
No, it's going to be Polanco, excuse me.
But
they make him a cleanup hitter. Makes no sense.
1 year that we went to state, for some reason, because they would take what you did in regionals and just kind of put you in these positionings. And what they would do is they would play these kind of qualifier games just to make sure they got the positioning. But even if they messed it up, there wasn't always somewhere that they could move you.
Throw to second, and Julio is safe.
And 1 year, and the thing is this would happen regularly. You just hoped you weren't that team that year that got thrown in the really bad mismatch. And this year at state, we pulled the short straw and we
now
got
the pitch to Polanco. And that is outside for a ball. And Polanco struck out on a 3-1 count, and that arguably broke the momentum for the Mariners to get anything going. Looks like Chet Holmgren tried to flop, but the ref wasn't buying it. I almost said umpire, as we're at 1-0 for Polanco. And now the pitch, and that is in there for a strike, a very clear strike. Therese Halliburton's at the free throw line to make it 98-97.
But so yeah, that year we got it, and these people were really tall. And unlike us, because it was part of the year, part of the time I was there, it was 5 sports. So we would have basketball in the winter and springtime, and track and field would start up right around spring break, and then go to the same day right around
now
summer.
Here's a ground ball right to the second baseman, throw to first in time. But that does bring Julio to third base. And now it's going to be up to Randy Arozarena.
And then we would do swimming during the summer because, it works out really well. And then in the fall, for a lot of years, it was largely empty. But some years we did try to play baseball. Issue is not a lot of Special Olympics teams play baseball. And the one time that we ended up doing it, we're just
Here's
doing
Randy Arozarena, the pitch, and that is going to be in there for a strike. as
The cool
Indiana
thing
takes a
was
2-point
the,
lead.
The stadium that we were at literally
And
had,
Indiana, they just stole the ball.
ooh, go,
And
go.
And let's see if they can make a big shot or something. Here's the 0-1 to Rosarena, and that is going to be a strike. And here is a 3-point attempt, and they just drew a foul.
But that
Now we're
stadium
at
was also
0-2.
cool because it had seats from the Astrodome in it.
We're at 0-2 for Randy Rosarena. And now the 0-2 pitch, and he chases a bad one. That is a foul ball.
And then we would finish with bowling, which would just go start of winter, like start around November, and then just go into early winter, and then start back with basketball once the year flipped over. So we were going through different sports. These groups, they did
0-2.
basketball all year.
All 1 and 2.
And they practiced like 2 times every week. Whereas we practiced once a week.
I think I want to try to do an NBA game at least once a week for next season. I'm thinking about it.
And also that would fill up some of the gap time.
Yeah, with it would.
Yeah. Though next year, around the end of February, might try to see if you can't do World Baseball Classic games.
Oh, I'm definitely doing World Baseball Classic. Doing World Baseball Classic and the World Cup.
I hope to at least go to one World Baseball Classic game in Houston.
I want to go to one World Baseball Classic, and I want to go to – my goal is to one World Cup match for South Korea.
Now, if you were going to a World Baseball Classic, which venue would you go to?
Wherever South Korea plays if they qualify for the next rounds. Another 3-2. And now here's a check swing, and now here's a throw to first, and it's in time, and that is going to retire the side. The Mariners just wasted an amazing double by Julio Rodriguez, and now we will go into the next inning.
Yeah, it'd be South Korea, so they start out in Japan, and then the next round, if they got past it, which then the Japan bracket, oh my gosh, is really stacked.
It really is. Oh, let's look at – hold on. Oh, yeah.
They would go to Miami for the next round.
Yeah.
They would not be in Houston.
All right, what do you want to say? What do you want to see? RBI double by myself, I pitched into 2 pop-outs, or walked on the first at-bat?
RBI, yeah. Get some RBI.
All the way, all the way, all the way.
And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month.
Yeah, that was a double.
And then I just love the image. If you want to know how that game went.
Mariners stranding a leadoff double, nothing new. Yep, it is nothing new.
Yeah.
And right now for the score, it's now 100-97, Indiana. And the last time the Indiana Pacers were like, I guess, really this close, other than the Paul George run, a very sad story that happened with the Pacers when their championship window literally got robbed away by one tragic night. It was the brawl, the malice at the Palace, because some drunk whatever chucked a beer at Ron Artest. Now, what would you give it to? Ron Artest for not being able to restrain himself, or was it the fact that this fan was crazy and a lunatic?
Both.
True. Throwing things at something like that is very unwise, and Ron Artest just couldn't keep his cool.
Yeah.
And nobody was there to like say, "Hey, Ron, are you okay?" Like, don't be lying down on the press on the scorer's desk. And now the pitch to Santana, and that is a strike. And by the way, we are back from the break.
Because you would have to wonder how things would have gone, because they did make it into the finals against the Lakers.
The 0-1. And that is a outside for a ball. That's Indiana when they played against Shaq and Kobe, when you had an aging Reggie Miller. They had Rick Smits. They had Mark Jackson. They had opportunities, but I mean, it's Shaq and Kobe.
But also, you could have, if you flash forward a few years, they then played the Pistons, and the Pistons, end up winning that series, despite the fact they really didn't have what you would call a modern, traditional NBA team.
Which eventually they turned into all-stars anyway, and that's a 2-2 for Carlos Santana. Now, if the Pacers made it to the NBA Finals in 2004, they would have had to go up against the Shaq and Kobe Lakers with Gary Payton and Karl Malone, which he did get injured, though. Now, here's a liner to center field, and that is going to be a base hit, and Julio is there. When is Harry Ford coming? I don't know. But I don't know if
they could have done it.
You think they would have, like Ron Artest would have handled Kobe Bryant?
Well, the
Jermaine O'Neal versus Shaq?
The Pistons did it.
Tayshaun Prince?
The Pistons also, like I said, the Pistons did it, and they were a nobody team.
At least at
with
the
one
time.
of the best logos at the time. Like that Pistons logo is so much better than basically all the other Pistons logos.
And that is outside for a ball. And it's 1-0.
Because every other Pistons logo has just been a boring basketball. Other than their time in Fort Wayne, which was a long time ago.
Pacers just scored again the pitch, and that is low for a ball. Now they have a 4-point lead.
Yeah.
Now we're at 2-0 for Schneemann.
It looks like OKC might be trying not to foul, so I think they have a few people that are getting close to being, which isn't good.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes the three, and that's going to be a foul ball by Schneemann. I'm thinking about kind of shifting towards that game on commercial break if it's like less than 1 minute and the differential is that small. And it's not like the Mariners are going to do anything anyway. And now we're at 2-1.
Oh my gosh, the Mariners scored 20 runs.
And then that's going to be a foul ball, strike two. And by the way, Indiana just lost the ball.
Though I'm all like, with it being this close, honestly, I would give it to Indiana just because they have proven themselves time and time again. They can come back.
And it's going to be popped up to second base Cole Young. And he makes the catch. And by the way, Oklahoma just took the lead. Off an amazing shot by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it's not like the Mariners are going to do anything spectacular either. Now here's Lane Thomas, and now here's the pitch. And that is going to be a strike. It's 0-1 so far. Now my eyes are just completely fixed on the Oklahoma. Yeah. And now the 0-1. It's going to be outside for a ball. Now, do you agree with me on this? If a series is 2-2, Game 5 is more important than Game 7. Because if you win Game 5 and if you're the away team, you have a 90% chance of winning Game 6. And now the pitch.
Yeah, I could see that.
For a ball. Not
Game 5, you kind of just
have been robbed last week because of Rowdy, Cal, and JP, huh? That's going to be 2-1. And the pitch.
Game 5
be popped up and fouled
for the rest of the series.
And sometimes Game 1 is also just as important as well.
And if you're Houston, you just lose Game 1 every time.
You do.
Fun fact: Houston has never won a World Series Game 1.
And now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And that is strike 3 called. And again, this strike zone is terrible. And Thomas is now talking about it too.
Be all just whatever
Indiana
you do,
just lost the ball.
your helmet. It's going.
You never want to. No, the Pacers may not even win tonight. They're endangered right now because it's it's now 2 minutes left. Oklahoma's taking 2 free throws and they missed the free throw.
The issue is for OKC is Indiana has
Naylor.
proven with a very little amount of time they can make us like a big lead just turn into nothing
Now we're at 0-1 for Naylor.
with basically no time left on the clock.
And they just made the free throw. Now it's a 2-point game for Oklahoma. Bo Naylor at 0-1. And once he gets the commercial break, I'm going to shift over to the Oklahoma game. And now the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. And you know what? Screw this. I don't care about this Mariners game right now.
Because I was about to say it's not going to be a commercial break. You're not going to finish with this batter.
Which, by the way, Oklahoma just lost the ball, so never mind. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Indiana lost the ball.
No. Keep watching. Keep watching. You know, it might just jinx Oklahoma. Let's
you would hope so. Okay, fine. So, excuse me. We're gonna head over to the Oklahoma Indiana game, and now here is the shot by Oklahoma, and he misses, and now it's gonna be rebound Halliburton. And now they're up with the ball, and Halliburton's just racing towards it. Now here is number 33, Miles Turner. He gets it over to number 2. There needs to be some screen set, and screen set is set by Turner. And are they just going to throw up a shot? I hope not. And number 2 taking the fadeaway shot, and he misses a really terrible shot by Indiana. And now they lost the ball with just above 1 minute left in this game. 60 seconds left. Oklahoma has a 2-point lead. They may just close this game away as Gilgeous-Alexander now has the ball. He's coming up from the top, and now he is going for the fadeaway shot, and he misses again, but it's going to be a foul. It was a shooting foul, and number 23 could not believe it. And by the way, ball 4, take your base, and now you got Cleveland with runners on first and second. This is really the perfect storm for Seattle fans. Yep, that did touch his hand all right. And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to take 2 shots at the line with 44 seconds left in this game. And now Indiana has all of a sudden lost control of this game. They blew a 10-point lead, and now here's the free throw, and that goes in.
The issue is they didn't they were getting fouls from OKC really quickly, and then they just stopped trying to get the fouls. And that was what did them in.
Now it's going to be Gilgeous-Alexander with another free throw, and he gets it in again, and now it's a 4-point game for Indiana. I don't think you necessarily have to rush it.
They can take a 7-point lead, and
I guess so. And now here's Halliburton, gets the screen. He's being defended by Holmgren, and he's just being chased around by Holmgren. And now here's Halliburton. He gets it over to Turner. He takes the 3, and that is way off. Like, what are you doing, Indiana? Taking a horrible shot. That was Miles Turner. You should have just been
going for layups there. You could have been able to get
what
back
was that? Miles Turner going for a 3-pointer made absolutely no sense, but it looks like he may have been fouled. Like, I didn't understand it. And I'm pretty sure Miles Turner's number 33.
Gabriel Arias flies out to right fielder Dominic Canzone.
Yeah, which is why it went to commercial break. And looks like there was a foul anyway. And now it's 0-0 looking to take 2 shots with less than 24 seconds left. And he misses the free throw.
Well, if he was shooting for a 3, wouldn't he get 3?
That's no, because it was off a rebound.
Okay.
Benedict Mathurin is the guy. Now he has to make this free throw to keep it within a 1-possession game. Miles Turner is out. Why did he take the 3? Made absolutely no sense.
Well, honestly, if I was Indiana and I knew how to place it well, I would actually miss it.
Yeah, and now here's the free throw shot, and he misses again, and Oklahoma rebounds, and a foul has been done, and looks like Oklahoma has put this in the bag.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's going to be it, and I think I'm just going to go straight back to the Mariners game as we are back from the break. That was basically the commercial break.
Yeah.
Now the question is, am I going to do the second half of the Oklahoma game
But
of Game 5? I'm thinking about it.
honestly, I'm just looking at this. Oklahoma just does not look at like they boast about how they're so great, but for how great, quote
And now
unquote,
here's
great
Tellez.
they aren't looking.
And now here's a fly ball to deep right field. If that is fair, that is gone. That is a home run for the Burger King man, Rowdy Tellez. And the Mariners get on the board to make it a 2-1 ball game. And that
It's not
is
a good
exactly
matchup.
what the Mariners needed to make it 2-1. And that was just absolutely bombed by Burger King man.
But he didn't get the Big Mac.
Oh, he didn't get the Big Mac. What did he get? The Whopper?
Yeah, he got the the Whopper Junior.
The Whopper Jr.? Oh, come on, man.
The Big Mac is, you get the Grand Slam. That's the Big Mac.
Oh, they're doing the I hate that Trident thing. I really hate it.
Yeah. Wave the Trident around. Let's see how many runs you give up this time.
Yeah, let's do. How about? I like the Darth Vader helmet. I like that one better.
Yeah.
And now here's Canzone, and now the pitch, and that is going to be a strike.
They could have been all like, "Yo, dudes."
Can't believe Oklahoma just came back just like that in a snap, and now we're at 0-1 for Canzone, and now here's the pitch. And that's a ground ball foul as he chased for it. Now the question is, am I going to do the Mariners game or will I do the second half of Game 5 of the NBA Finals?
It just depends on how it's going, really.
Nah, I don't want to play it by ear, though.
But you also don't want to cover a really ground,
Yeah. It's a crapshoot, really.
Yeah.
As we're at 1-2. But it's going to be a one or the other. But the other problem is because there's already been call-outs for next week, I have to work the whole shift. And now the 1-2. And Dom Canzone just reaches and pops out right to second base.
He should do a bat flip.
He should have done a bat flip.
Just imagine that.
Yeah, Tellez literally just bombed it out of there.
Just bat flip, a pop-up. Funny thing is, there was a player that I actually remember did that, John Singleton for the Astros. He would literally just pimp his pop outs.
Ben Williamson, he takes it for a ball. Thunder had a 9-0 run in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, really what it was is Indiana got away from
1-0.
What makes
that's going to be right down the middle for a strike.
What makes them so good?
Oh, Oklahoma just turned the ball over, and they just drew a foul. And now here's the 1-1, and that is going to be low for a ball. Oklahoma literally just threw the ball away. But now it's going to be 2 free throws just to force it to a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they pull a Reggie Miller? And that's going to be 3-1.
Well, no, they missed the first free throw.
Yep. So, yeah, that game's done. Now we're at 3-1 for Williamson. Now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. That's going to get right through for a base hit. And Ben Williamson could get extra bases. He's going to second base. And he gets in there with a stand-up double. If I were Oklahoma, or Indiana, I'd just miss the free throw and try to get the rebound. Nope, they don't.
Well, you're at a point, like, if you'd gotten one of those already, you could have done that. But even then, you would need a 4-point play, which then means OKC would have to really screw up.
Just like Indiana has been a victim of a 4-point play against Larry Johnson. Randy Johnson
came out.
Yeah, he did.
He decided, I'm going to try this basketball stuff.
Technical foul committed by Indiana. Yeah, this game's done.
Yeah.
Here's Cole Young. As we're looking at 0-1.
I'm just all like, still, OKC just doesn't look that good. They don't.
Yeah, but sometimes a win like that is what you need. And now the 0-1 and a big swing and a miss by Cole Young, and that is going to be strike 2.
it can also just get the other team to get their head out of their butt.
I think
And
I'm going to
for-
do second. I think I'm going to take the chance and do second half, but I'm going to have both of it ready, like both the
Yeah.
streamings ready, like at least like thumbnail ready. The pitch low for a ball 1 and 2. But if it's
Well,
like a really close game for the second half, I'm jumping in for it.
But actually, how both these series have been going, both NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup, it has been trading off each game. So
Yeah, it has been, and now we're at 1 and
if,
2,
Stanley Cup ends up being that, like,
and the pitch outside for a ball 2 and 2.
let's see, because it would be Florida if they ended up winning that, and then the Pacers end up winning. I'm going to say Florida and Pacers probably win in 7, just
We're at
because
2
they
and
keep
2.
trading it off.
Now the throw to second, and it's not in time. That is Ben Williamson who gets back. We're at 2 and 2 for Cole Young. At least there's a guarantee for a game 6. I will at
Yeah.
least do game 6. I'll be open. I should be good for it because of the holiday Juneteenth. So that gives me a day off. The 2-2. Now here's a fly ball to center field and might be still going. Buddy makes the catch, but I think that's enough for Ben Williamson to go to third base.
Yes,
And he does.
He does. So have you
And-
been voting for your all-stars for MLB?
Going to be up to JP Crawford now, as Cole Young did a good job at least getting the runner to third base. So I got to give him that.
Now, one thing I've never gotten on voting for like MLB all-stars is why have we never been able to vote for pitchers?
That bothers, doesn't it? Always picked by
Like,
the coaches.
It's all managers, and some
The
people say,
pitch to
well, it's
JP.
complicated. I'm all like, how complicated is it to have every team's ace and every team's best reliever, and then a fill-in-the-blank spot for both?
Yeah. As now we got JP Crawford. He's up to the plate. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a base hit. And that is going to score in the run Ben Williamson, as JP Crawford has tied this ball game to make it 2-2. And what an inning for the Mariners. Finally, they don't have to live and die by the long ball.
And then watch next inning, and they just go back to it. They're all like, we tied it. We wanted to make it exciting. Now let's go back to we need the long ball.
Did you remember when I did the Mariners-Astros game last year when Yordan Alvarez hit the home run off the facade of the upper deck? And now the pitch.
Yeah.
Now here's a ground ball, and that actually could be an infield base hit, and it's going to be. And Julio Rodriguez will get on base. That's going to be his second hit of the game. He is now just a home run and a triple away from the cycle.
You know what I also remember is that one, it was Astros Mariners, where you were there in person and you're just all like, this team sucks.
Yeah, all my friends were pissed that night.
Because I just remember watching the stream and I was laughing.
I had a ginormous meltdown. And remember 2 days later, there was that Hector Neris versus Julio Rodriguez.
The time is go. Execute.
Order 66. Too bad I can't play it because Disney will just throw a fit.
Well,
if I-
it's because of the music. If there was a way you could easily just take the music out.
Yeah, but then it will take
Probably
away
get
the
away with
quality of
that.
the video.
Well, yes. No, just put a subtitle in playing sad Star Wars music. Just
And
sort of-
and that lip syncing with Dusty Baker was just perfect.
Good.
Not even that. He was like this. Execute order
What's that?
66.
66. And then, how does it feel? Good. Good. See,
Yep, NBA final. Oh, Reese, shut up.
and watch the next game. The Pacers are going to win, and
No,
Florida's
Oklahoma is
gonna
gonna win, and then
win. And then
Mariners go on a 10-game losing streak. Then Oklahoma wins the NBA Finals, and then Adam Silver says, "Just kidding, no expansion," or "Let's go to Mexico and Vegas." And now the pitch. And now here's a fly
Mexico's
ball
not gonna work.
to center
I'm
field,
just saying,
and that's
Mexico's
not
not
going
going to work. Because
to
I don't care how many people are saying Mexico this, Mexico that. Mexico's not going to work. It's not a good situation right now to make that work. It won't.
I guess.
Like, you think
yeah.
they're weary about making more Canadian teams in these sports leagues? They, like, while they talk a big talk about Mexican teams, it's not feasible right now.
No, that's why Seattle's most feasible right now. Oh,
well,
but
yes, that is what's helping the Sonics' chance. Which, if they do come back, what logo do they adopt? A brand new one, or
they're gonna go brand new. It's gonna be brand new, and it's gonna be cringe.
Well, I'm all
yeah.
like, okay, the one that they'd had for the longest, that one wasn't like, that was I would say out of all the Sonics logos, it was my second favorite. Though I will say I did like that late 90s logo.
Yeah, true.
That late 90s logo was just a perfect blend.
It was. But I got a treat for you. Another treat.
Every single time we come up to hit.
2-0 pitch. Oh, here's a fly ball drilled to right field. Forget about that one. That nearly hit the third deck. And Jordan Alvarez just completely blasted the crap out of that one.
That ball was crushed. Oh, by the way, fastball low in the zone. And, you gave him you started him off fastball up and away, and then you give him fastball in the zone. And it's like, dude, Jordan does not miss those pitches. And by the way, that was off the facade of the third deck.
I remember that game because wasn't that the game that Jordan got the cycle?
He did get the cycle.
Because I remember he got the triple off of Julio just running into the wall and missing.
Yep. And that's when I was like, why are we pulling Brian Wu? And they brought in Saucedo because lefty-lefty matchup. But you didn't pay attention to the fact that Jordan kills lefties.
Yeah, Jordan's just all like, I don't care.
And sadly he's just sitting in my IL for my fantasy baseball team.
With his fractured hand, which I'm going to say this. I don't get how there hasn't been an investigation on like team physicians for just literally hiding the fact that the injuries are a lot worse than they usually like claim they are.
One to Jones, and that is a swing and a miss strike too.
Because they said like he had an issue with his like he had pulled something in his hand or something like that. It was something minor that you come back from, and he was taking literally practice at bats, and then it came out that he had a fractured hand.
Yeah, so he wasn't even ready.
And you're all like,
"Oh,
medical staff, why didn't we know about this?"
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's because they try to play things so close to the chest that literally half the team doesn't know what's going on. Like, sometimes the general manager knows, and then sometimes he doesn't.
Now the pitch, low
the
for a
manager
ball.
never knows what's going on. Now, Kevin, Mexico, baseball, that would be really hard. Now, there is a way you could get around
outside
it.
for a ball.
You would just have to. You could not do an intricate close-in stadium. You would have to make a really big stadium.
Very big. Now the 2-2 pitch. Low for a ball, 2-2 or 3-2. Jones was known to hit that home run, and then Stephen Kwan followed it shortly after.
And then, of course, they would also have to have a freezer.
Now the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that is a foul ball. That was almost another home run. He might just be due.
If you were, say, doing an NFL or an NBA team, the elevation would not play a factor in it. Like, sure, kickers would have a better time.
3-2
there.
And that's a foul ball.
But it's not the elevation that's the problem. It's, well, for one, Mexico's not exactly the stablest place to be. And also money. Mexico does not there are wealthy people in Mexico, but that's very few. And it's the reason why Mexico's in such a bad situation is because of those wealthy people, because they literally control the entire country.
Yeah, a lot of Americans that just don't want to pay as much big boy taxes in America, which is why they're
and then
going to places
occasionally they'll
like
go to jail just because they do something dumb.
the 3-2, and that's going to be a ball four, take your base, or some don't. Let's just say they don't take their beer with them to the bathroom, if you know what I mean.
But
Biggest
then,
advice when you go there: have your drink with you, even if you're taking a crap in the bathroom. Or here's another one: just throw it out in the bathroom and then ask the waiter for a refill.
Yeah,
in the pitch, and that is outside for a ball.
But like, even these leagues are wary about an extra Canadian team, like, because there've been floated possibilities, except the NFL, which honestly I kind of find weird that the NFL hasn't just thought about it.
The other way that will not work is Europe. It cannot work because
what you would need is, like, if you're doing, say, NFL, because the NFL has been the one that's floated Europe the most, is what you would have to do is you would have to create a European league, and then they would kind of be. You could create a European division, and you could kind of make it.
And that is a strike. And by the way, Mariners have no outs.
But what you would have to do is you would have to structure it that every team that goes over and plays the European division would have to play them all in one swoop and then get a bye week immediately after. Just because of the travel.
Travel is the biggest problem.
But the other thing is, if you got a lot of interest, which, hey, if they keep playing exhibition games in Europe, you could eventually get a lot of interest.
I mean, we're getting exhibition games in Seattle, too, the 2-1. And now here's a fly ball to center field, and there is Julio Rodriguez. And he makes the catch, and that is going to be 2-1 down.
And they could attempt a European NFL league again.
Hopefully.
And maybe not make it a minor league. And what you would do is essentially the NFL and this European league, if you wanted them to be the same level, is they would both be, what it would be is essentially just become a American league and a national league, but instead it's the United States versus Europe. And
now
the Super Bowl.
Now the pitch. Now here's could be a double play ball. Throw to second and throw to first. And that is in time for the double play. And that is going to retire the side. We go to the very next inning. It's going to be the bottom of the fifth. It is actually 2-2. And now what's another video I can show? I got RBI double or pitched in. Oh, this one's good.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for.
We're going to pimp that hat, throw. Pimp it.
I think I pulled in a Rosarena on that one, or at least a Brett Boone.
Or John Singleton.
Yeah, just flip the bat. That's the thing. Like, I criticize Julio Rodriguez for being a showboat, an Instagram boy, and here I am doing the same exact thing. I'm becoming like Obi-Wan.
John Singleton.
Like Obi-Wan once said, you have became the thing you swore to destroy.
You were supposed to destroy the ship, not join them.
Actually, do you know what bothers me about the whole thing about Anakin joining the dark side? So the Emperor Palpatine sold the idea to have him join the dark side with the promise that he was going to protect Padme.
Yeah.
But there's one little problem. There was a deleted scene where literally Padme and Palpatine were literally going back and forth with each other, politics-wise, and Anakin was literally right there. Anakin was being like so oblivious about it. He was like, wait, what's wrong? I think they're hiding something, Anakin. So, because, they disagreed with each other. Like, Padme hated the Clone Troopers idea.
Yeah.
Palpatine wanted that. And of course, Jar Jar Binks went behind Padme's back to do that.
Sith Lord.
So why would Anakin trust someone that disagrees with his wife? Like, what's that all about?
Like I said, the jokingly that Padme was a groomer. The one that really was a groomer was Palpatine.
Yeah, he's a pervert.
But like, one thing I will say is this one reason why I really like the 3D Clone Wars series is they really kind of better illustrate Anakin's slow descent.
Yeah, like Ahsoka played a huge part of it, like her departure.
And
like
then also Obi-Wan keeping the fact that he was still alive in that arc.
And that he deep down, and it was obvious that he deep down knew that Anakin and Padme was already married. He deep down knew.
If you watch season 7, literally they literally Obi-Wan's all like, I hope you said hi to Padme for me. Because Anakin was trying to hide that he was talking to Padme.
Now we're at 2-1 for Polanco.
And I'm all like, well, also I did like that because the fact that you get to learn that, Obi-Wan did have a someone.
2-1. Now here is a fly ball to center field. And he makes the catch. Yeah, no wonder Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side because of many conflicting things. And
well, yeah, because the movie just kind of shows it as, he didn't get the rank of master. He's angry now.
No, there was way more to it.
Yeah, that was the final straw.
Now here is Randy Arozarena. And now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball.
Have you ever seen the theory about for the 3D Clone Wars that actually Obi-Wan has a secret son that he doesn't know about?
No, didn't hear about that. 1-0. That's gonna be a foul ball.
Because he has his relationship with Satine, and there's this one person who pops up in Satine's life, her nephew, but we never see her nephew's parents.
Rey?
Well, it's like, is it Corky or something like that?
No idea.
And the only relative that we ever see of Satine's is her sister Bo-Katan with red hair.
1-2. Low for a ball, 2-2.
And so her nephew has brown hair with streaks of blonde like hers. And the only person we know she had a relationship that has brown hair is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Now here's a ground ball right to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is in time. And now it's 2 outs.
So everyone jokes that actually Obi-Wan has a son and he doesn't realize it this entire time.
How about the fact that, did you remember in Kenobi there was that homeless clone trooper? Spare credits. You know, deep down, he actually knew who that was. He knew that it was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he knew.
He just didn't want to say it.
Well, also, the thing is most clones, especially if you probably didn't watch The Bad Batch, because that was...
I did not.
I will say that was actually a really good series.
0-1. And now here, off the pitcher, goes to second base, and that will actually go into... And Rowdy Tellez is going to second base because no one's paying attention. Throw to second. And that ball just ricocheted right off the pitcher. And Rowdy Tellez he never stopped.
Yeah.
Now it's just
what you're supposed to do.
Now it's a question is he okay? Because that hit him right in the face. And now you have to wonder, is he having head trauma or something?
Well, yeah, that is something you do have to wonder. But with something like The Bad Batch, it's like, while I've never seen Andor and kind of for how the fans acted, like how Andor was, I just kind of have no desire to watch it just because I'm all like, wow, such toxicity. I'm not watching this. But the thing is, from what I've heard about it, I would say The Bad Batch is faster.
Hit him right off of his head.
Than Andor, but it is a very slow paced series.
I just can't get into it. And I heard Mandalorian season 3 was a joke because when you have Jack Black in there, you know it's a joke.
Well, honestly, I'm going to say this. There was probably some Kathleen Kennedy interference starting in Book of Boba Fett because there's a good chance that Mando, while I think he was planned to show up in Book of Boba Fett, I don't think he was supposed to have nearly as big of a role that he did.
He had way too much of a role.
Like, honestly, what I think it probably was going to be, and this is just me spitballing here, is he hasn't found the armorer yet, and he shows up to Tatooine looking for a ship, and he knows someone that can get him and get him a ship. So he goes to Tatooine, and he then is waiting for a ship, and that's when he runs into Boba, who asks him for some help.
Looks like Smith is okay at the very moment.
And I think what it was supposed to be is that probably starting sometime through season 3. Now, who knows? From how Jon Favreau has kind of said it, is it might have been that Grogu does not come back in season 3 whatsoever.
I think Kathleen Kennedy forced it.
Yeah, she very much forced it, and I think she also forced it in Book of Boba Fett as well. Like, because at first she was all like, "Oh, do it in." There was some argument about it, and I think she at first wanted it in season 3, but then she changed it to Book of Boba Fett. And
What I didn't like about Mandalorian, though, even season 2 when it was good at its prime, and now here's Canzone the pitch. I didn't like that his armor was like very laser proof. I didn't like that.
Like, when it's explained, it makes sense, but it was very much a massive plot armor. But since
Way
it's
too
pure
much.
Beskar,
1-1, low for a ball, 1 and 2.
and pure Beskar is supposed to be, this very much perfect material.
As we're at 2-1 for Dom Canzone.
Which is why many Mandalorians just
2-1.
have really old
Swing and a
armor,
miss, strike 2.
because there's not much Beskar left.
No, there isn't.
Well, and that's also why, like, ones that have newer armor, that's why they die easily, because they have weaker armor.
2 and 2 for Canzone. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's going to retire the side, and it does remind me of this. The 0-2 pitch.
You gotta love these guys.
He literally just swing. He
Oh my
literally
God.
just swinged at
None
the
of those
dirt.
were in the strike zone.
It wasn't even in the strike zone, and he just swinged it. Like, why?
Like, literally, that wasn't Taylor Scott being good. That was
It was
just
really
you just
bad.
swinging at crap.
Taste the authentic flavors of Greece. At Apollo Mediterranean Greek Food, we bring you the best Greek cuisine with dishes crafted from fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy a variety of mouth-watering options, including savory gyros, specialty plates, fresh salads, crispy falafel, refreshing beer selection, and much more. Craving Greek food at home? We've got you covered with delivery service straight to your door. Whether you're dining in or enjoying outdoor seating, every meal is a journey to Greece. Come visit us or order online today.
You want some Mediterranean food?
I do like a good Euro. And there's this place, it's in Houston that, like, is also a Greek place. And there's this burger. And every time that I order it, they have to tell me, "Sir, this is going to take like 20 minutes to cook."
Huh.
But it's a super good burger. Like, it's a Caceres burger or something like that.
Man.
But they're all like, "Yeah, this is going to take like 20 minutes."
What was it? What we got?
But
And looks like we are back from the break. Luis Castillo threw 5 innings and has 6 strikeouts. 5 of them were fastballs, and 1 of them was a sinker, and he's still on the mound. And time has been called. He has 87 pitches now, so I think that this could be his last inning. And he'll go into the 7th inning, and there's already activity in the bullpen. There's Carlos Vargas and Gabe Spire.
but not
Now the
your
pitch.
favorite.
And the swing and a miss, and that is strike 1.
Not Bizardo.
Yeah, not Bizardo.
At least not yet.
Nope. But it may happen.
But
Now the pitch. Low for a ball.
during the Bad Batch, one thing that they go into is that so the clones they get there, they have the inhibitor chips that program in Order 66.
Yep.
And what the Bad Batch kind of does in the background is that for a lot of clones, that programming started to quickly wear off, and a lot of them were sitting with the weight of what they had done.
A lot of guilt.
And that's why you kind of, and then they were also cast off to the side. But like for a clone there to recognize Obi-Wan, he's all like, I'm not going to call him out because I feel guilty.
And I lost everything. The pitch. And that is ball 4, take your base. And, Rex was actually trying to fight it off.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did like also in the Bad Batch is Rex does appear, not often, but he's a recurring character in that. And it's really good episodes. They actually had Rex, and he's like trying to make a clone rebellion.
Which didn't, obviously it failed.
Well, yes. And it also explains, you probably didn't watch Rebels either, because Rebels is an acquired taste. Like, it's not for everyone.
No, I thought it gave me too much childish vibes.
Like, I enjoyed Rebels. If you might recognize the cat.
Which I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, but
just like I didn't enjoy. Oh, did you see Lightyear?
I saw it once, and yeah, it was just a nothing burger to me.
I nearly fell asleep watching it.
I was just all like, this wasn't even good.
The pitch, low. That's a play. Double play ball could be the throw to first in time for the double play, and that's gonna be 2 outs in the flash.
I'm all like, and you wasted the talents of Chris Evans on just a nothing burger of a movie.
Yeah, I don't think Tim Allen wanted to do that one. And it's gonna.
Yeah,
but there are movies that are gonna be to watch next year. This year is gonna be Zootopia 2. I'm actually gonna watch that. Karate Kid, I want to watch that, but I just never have the time to watch it because I'm just so busy. And then there's gonna be, what's the other movie called?
There's also Jurassic World again.
I am skipping that. I'm not gonna watch it.
It just really depends if there's a theater open.
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it.
Really, the only movie that I think I've watched this year has been Mission Impossible.
I want to watch. There's gonna be Shrek.
Oh no,
Shrek
I did watch the Thunderbolts as well
and they've won, and that is gonna be outside for a ball.
Which I don't get why a lot of people just did not go out to see that movie. It was actually really good.
Yes, Castillo has pitched well, but he is getting into 100 pitches, so I think this could be it for him after this inning. 2-1.
Yep.
And that's going to be popped up and fouled.
I did not watch the Minecraft movie. I was just like, no, I have no desire to see it. Even though I really do enjoy playing that game, I was just all like, no.
Just saw The Life of Chuck and you loved it. And this is Teresa. And Teresa, thank you for being a member of my channel. If you have any feedback, let me know how you feel about it. And now we're at 2-2 for Schneemann. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, strikeout number 7. And that just leaves me enough time to go to the bathroom, which I'm going to do right now.
We're making half pineapple, half tiki with barbecue chicken. Put the garlic. Put the pineapple on the whole pizza. Remember, they want half pineapple, and the one is going to be tiki. Tiki tiki with pineapple, garlic, feta cheese, artichoke hearts, and the chicken. And we're going to spread some barbecue on top. And it's ready. Put it on the oven. Let it run.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
Oh, I'm back.
But yeah, as I was saying with like Rebels, is there's a moment where Rex is all like, I don't want to get involved in the fight again. So means whatever happened to his clone rebellion, it ended very badly.
I heard in Legends it's even more dark and effed up on how the
Yeah.
clone troopers from what I heard, I guess the Empire went to Kamino,
Yeah.
basically vaporized the entire planet and the citizens.
And both canon and in Legends, Kamino gets wiped out.
And the clone troopers tried to, and the Kaminoans, they tried to do their one last batch of clone troopers, and stormtroopers outnumbered them.
Now, apparently, I can't remember if this is canon or Legends anymore, but apparently there was one last clone battalion that Palpatine had, and he actually kept them on Endor, and that's actually the army he was talking about, his best trained troops, not the army you see there that shows up. They're on the other side.
The pitch to Williamson low for a ball.
And because the garrison's commander is killed really early on when the rebels attack, he never gets the word out that, hey, the rebels are attacking, come and reinforce us.
And that is a strike. And Palpatine was too busy taunting Luke.
And so the clones just end up staying there waiting for orders, and all except one of them end up dying.
Wow, that's sad. The 1-1. And now here's a fly ball and fouled.
Because he ends up running into a rebel that got left behind on the moon. And so at first they duke it out, and then they're all like, okay, truce. It's just the two of us.
Now it's 1-2. Now the pitch to Williamson. Now here's a fly ball to right field. That's going to be caught by the right fielder.
And honestly, what really the thing is, if you were going to save Star Wars, even though it's almost going to be impossible to save it, is the number one thing you would have to do is get rid of Kathleen Kennedy.
Even if you get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, it's not going to.
Well, it's not going to be easy, but you have to get rid of her. She's the reason why you're in this mess.
And they have plenty of content to use from Legends. The pitch.
Oh, yeah.
That is low for a ball. 789 was basically a parody of the Jaina Solo and the Jason Solo battle. It was basically a parody of that.
Well, and also the thing was
1-0 and a strike.
At first, when Disney was starting to make this stuff, they actually were trying to adapt some of the Legend stuff, because that's how you got in Rebels. You had Grand Admiral Thrawn, you had the TIE Defender.
The pitch outside for a ball. Yeah, I mean, it's just so much fan servicing. Like they finally did the TIE Avenger for Andor, and at this point I was like, it wasn't even worth my time, because it's like, just do the real story, the 2-1.
But honestly, I didn't mind like how they did with Thrawn there, because they still did a really good job with Thrawn. And
it's just
and
that
Rebels.
Disney Star Wars really, it was a 789 was just too much for me to like forgive them. Now the 3-1 and a swing and a miss, strike 2.
I've watched out of that entire trilogy is 7, and it's very sparingly. That I rewatched that. I haven't rewatched 8 or 9.
Now we're at 3. Now it's just flat out unwatchable. The 3-2 and a ground ball right to first base, and that's going to be 2 outs.
Because everyone wants to blame J.J. Abrams, and he has a fair share of the problems here. But I think the biggest share of what caused it to really go wrong was the fact you brought in Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson really made it worse.
Like, yes, he's not a bad director. Like, I really enjoyed Knives Out, and I heard Glass Onion was really good. But those are mysteries.
And the pitch. And now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a base hit, and J.P. Crawford is absolutely on fire. He is going to be 3 for 4, And now I got to run on second base. And now let's see if Julio can do. If he wants to go for the cycle, he needs a triple or a home run. And doing any of those two can get the Mariners the lead.
Yeah. But
it's Julio.
Yes. And honestly, looking back at it, while yes, Force Awakens is basically almost a word for word repeat of A New Hope. Honestly,
now the pitch.
Looking back at
now
it,
here's a fly ball popped up to left field, and that is gonna be caught by the left fielder Stephen Kwan, and that is going to retire the side. And again, Mariners. Vargas is heading out, and we are doomed.
But
yeah. Well, here's the.
And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5.
Yeah, whatever.
But looking back on it, you could have made something out of that. But the fact you changed directors in the second film literally completely shot that to crap, because literally Rian Johnson had no interest in continuing basically any of the storylines that were kind of set up.
Not only that, but what about then Rise of Skywalker, where they pretty much just reverted it back?
Well, Rise of Skywalker was essentially the damage was done. Throw crap. See what sticks.
Okay, but here was the part that really got me. How about light speed skipping? The Millennium Falcon light speeds to 7 different planets. How about that?
Or no. How about the fact that you take your ship and just somehow destroy a fleet going at light speed?
Yeah, whatever happened to Han Solo saying, doing hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy. You can get your one bad calculation. You can bounce into a star, get too close to a supernova, and that would end your trip real quick, wouldn't it?
Well, and also the thing is even if you go to Force Awakens, when they have the ship issue, and we'll just ignore Rey in that point, is what does he say? If we don't fix this,
there's a ground ball right to third base of Ben Williamson to throw to first in time. And by the way, yep, Carlos Vargas has taken over. So yeah, the game's pretty much over.
But Han Solo is all like, there'll be pieces of us in 7 different systems if we don't get this fixed. But also the thing is, if that was the case, literally the rebellion could have won instantly going back to the Empire. You just find wherever Palpatine is, you take an asteroid, you put a hyperdrive to it, and you just throw it at his ship. And then Palpatine's dead. That is not how ships work.
How about this? Oh, I'm sorry, I let you all down. There's all more of us, Poe. And all these random ships, where'd they all come from? I thought it was stupid.
Well,
ships are just
that you were just they were literally trying to make anything stick, because Rian Johnson really screwed it up
really badly.
Well, because while a lot of people do hate Solo, I do think it gets way too much hate, and it
was because of Last Jedi. It was a bad time.
Well, yeah, Last Jedi was on everyone's mind, and they're just all like, we're going to hate on the next movie, and it happened to be Solo. Which
Solo didn't deserve it.
And I'm going to say that was...
Now here's a fly ball to center field, but Julio is running, and that might be trouble. He makes the catch, and the Marine layer praise the bee.
But the thing that was annoying about that is they literally took the Obi-Wan movie and stretched it out into a series. And it's painfully obvious that this was a movie stretched into a series.
Did you and we can agree the only 2 good scenes was when Anakin and Obi-Wan were dueling for that Attack of the Clones kind of fan servicing. But I like the scene where, as we got Arius up to the plate, and now here's the pitch, and that's gonna be a foul ball. What about the part where Obi-Wan was like, "Hey, Anakin, what's up?" I'm not Anakin. I'm Darth Vader, and I'm gonna bleep and kill you. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye, Darth.
Those moments there. But then you had all these side plots that you had to just fill out because you needed a series. And that was all because Solo didn't do well. And the only reason why Solo didn't do well is because of The Last Jedi.
Rogue One actually was pretty good.
Oh, Rogue One. Rogue One is probably the best.
I remember when I was in the theater, remember Donnie Yen got his blindfold? He was like, "Are you kidding? I'm blind."
That is a great line. But perfect. Rogue One is probably no, it's not probably. It is the best Star Wars movie that Disney has made.
Before I tell you how much there is one part that really got me badly, let me sing the seventh inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be a shame because the Thunder won today, and well, they've lost badly over the past week or two. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Okay. All right, here's what it bothered me. The Imperial Walkers.
Yeah.
So why is it that in Empire Strikes Back, you had to use a harpoon tow cable and go through it 3 times with your snow speeder, but in Rogue One, all you had to do was shoot it down with an X-Wing and some little dude with that little gun.
Yeah.
I hated that.
I'm trying to remember because it's been a bit since I've seen Rogue One. Where did they shoot it?
They shot it basically anywhere.
Okay, because if they'd shot it at the neck, that had been kind of described as that was the big weak point. So that would have made sense. But
Disney's cover-up reason was, it was actually a different model. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It just didn't add up for me. Plus, those Imperial Walkers are one of the most badass things ever.
Yeah. Now, simple fix would have just been shoot the neck, because the neck's the weak spot.
Nope, you gotta go for the legs.
No, you just shoot anywhere. It'll just blow up.
Yeah, in Rogue One, it really ruined it. Now, here's Cal Raleigh, and a swing and a miss at the dirt, and very quietly, no one seems to notice, but Cal Raleigh has actually struggled this past week.
Which is probably why the Mariners have been playing awful.
Living and dying by Cal Raleigh's home runs.
Yep.
And the 0-1 and low for a ball.
That just might make Cal the MVP.
It really does. As we're at 1-1, 13 home runs in 33 home games. T-Mobile Park record is 21.
So
and the 1-1. Now here's a ground ball foul
of baseball.
He's the what of baseball?
Tony Romo,
I guess. Yeah, Tony Romo carried that Cowboys team.
Well, literally, Tony Romo. The joke was that he was the MVP every year because the Cowboys were good to great. And then as soon as he got injured, they sucked.
Yeah, that was a Tony. But yeah, Tony Romo used to be the butt of all jokes. I can examine every bit of the Tony Romo screw-ups that they had. That I can actually say that it wasn't his fault. It just happened to be that he was on the Cowboys, and whenever a Cowboy player messes up, he's literally on front page of everything.
Well, that's what happens when it's the most valuable franchise in the world.
You're under a microscope.
Yep.
As we're at 1-2, now the pitch, low for a ball.
But never the man who, is actually the root cause behind all the problems.
No, he was not the reason. He got way too much criticism. But the other thing,
Jerry Jones never gets the heat.
Nope, he always gets away with everything.
He's all like, Jerry Jones throwing money,
and the pitch, and that's gonna be popped up and out of play. No, but the fumble against the Seahawks with that chip shot.
Yeah.
Yes. Why did they put Tony Romo there anyway? Should have been the punter or
Well,
the whoever catches it.
I'm going to say for kicks, they've always done things in the Jerry Jones era. Do we all remember Leon Lett?
I guess so.
Oh, and it was Leon Lett. No.
Now we're at 2-2 for Cal Raleigh.
And that was the Jerry Jones era because he was on the sideline.
2-2. Check swing. Did he go? He does not. And then the interception against the Giants, you can't say that was his fault because that was like one of those long shot things. Because it was like it was just really just going to the end zone. He was trying to make nothing into something. So yeah, you couldn't really blame him for that. Now we're at 3-2.
Though nothing, and this is nothing will ever compare to the butt fumble.
The 3-2. Low for a ball 4. The worst one, and it also wasn't Tony Romo's fault. What about the Des Bryant catch where that was a bleeping catch?
It's great to just hear,
You would think with the NFL quote being scripted, they would have wanted the Cowboys in the NFC Championship against the Seahawks. That would have been ratings through the roof.
You know who is the writer? The writer is Jimmy Johnson. He's all like, "This is what you get for firing me."
Yeah, and they fired him for like basically no reason. And
well, it's because Jerry Jones wanted to prove that it was him, not Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, and yeah, Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl, but then did nothing after that.
Well, it was because Barry Switzer.
Now here's a liner to left field, and that is a fair ball into the corner. That could score in a run. It might. And let's see if it does. Nope, it goes to third base. Cal Raleigh's not that fast.
He's not Martin Maldonado, but he's not like Jeremy Pena or something like that. He's not that fast, but he's not Martin Maldonado.
Not at all.
Just imagine Martin Maldonado literally takes the double and turns it into a single.
That was a nice liner to left field. And he was actually trying to wave Cal Raleigh home, but at the last second he was like, no.
Oh, they've pulled the pitcher.
Oh, yep, he has seen enough.
They are putting in Hunter Gaddis.
Great. I wonder what else I got. All my softball highlights are exhausted.
Okay, let's see. Oh. Let's see. Has Gaddis pitched a lot? Because he has a really good ERA. Let's see. Okay. He has pitched 26 2/3 innings, has 36 strikeouts, has a whip of 1.28 and an ERA of 1.35. So, yeah, probably the right call there.
Yeah.
It's no Josh Hader, but, who is?
On commercial break.
If Houston, gets to the postseason, the only thing I want to see is if they keep getting back to the postseason, is I want to see Altuve break the record.
Blah. You know what I want? I just want the Mariners to make the playoffs.
Well, yes, that would be nice, but I also just want because he's so close to it. It's so infuriating that he's that close.
Oh, wah. Now here's the pitch, and that is outside for a ball.
A guy who is going to be lucky to get 300 home runs by the end of his career might end up holding the title for the most postseason home runs.
And now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that is going to be a base hit, and that is going to score in Cal Raleigh. And that is going to be the lead that the Mariners will take to make it 3-2, as the Mariners are now 3, Guardians too, and Randy Arozarena with that poser thing.
Pose.
That was a nice liner to left field.
You just better hope that they don't, score a bunch of runs we hate.
Yeah. Hey, I have a comment by an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and I think it's just too perfect.
Oh, what is it?
So I said that I was never going to cheer for Oklahoma in the NBA Finals, and then this Oklahoma fan, I'll just do it on commercial break. Now here's Rowdy Tellez up to the plate. Now here's the pitch, and a big swing and a miss, and he was going for it. Rowdy Tellez is 2 for 3 with a double and the home run who got things started.
He could get a double quarter pounder with cheese here.
Would you like to supersize it?
Sometimes I used to actually get that. I used to get a double quarter pounder with cheese.
Except one problem, McDonald's burgers are disgusting now these days.
Sometimes I just really want some a really greasy burger, but it's very rare.
Just go to a food truck and get a burger there. They're better.
Yeah.
We're at 1-1 for Rowdy Tellez. And the throw to first. And not in time. I can't wait to read the comment. You're going to be like, yup. And now we're at 1-1 for Rowdy Tellez.
Winking in his picture? I think.
And now the pitch.
Winking.
Low for a ball, and that's going to be 2-1. And actually, there was a stolen base to second base by Randy Arozarena. And now we're at 2-1 for Rowdy Tellez. And now here's a pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that is going to be pretty much no play. Throw to first.
Right to the second baseman, basically.
Literally. I mean, how much could the Mariners really screw this up where they have 2 men on with just 1 out? No double play is possible unless the Mariners do really stupid.
Yeah, only just for them. Dom Canzone.
Oh, Dom Canzone. Oh, how about this? The 0-2 pitch.
You gotta love these guys.
I mean, he literally just swing. Let's see if he can avenge that. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And I think that was his pitch right there. I mean, you're not going to get much out of Canzone. It's either he strikes out 10 times or 9 times or he hits 1 home run. That's what he is. It's a huge extreme.
He can also do a pop-up occasionally, Just pop
yeah, or maybe a cute little grounder. Now here's the 0-1.
Maybe a double
here's a fly ball to deep right foul ball.
I was shaking my head because I already knew that one was foul. It was close though.
No.
From the field view, I could tell it was close.
Let's see what happens next. And Dom Canzone's actually getting a new bat. And it looked good, too. Tonight, with runners in scoring position, Mariners are 2-12. That's great.
Well, you can add another.
Now we're at 0-2. And now here is the pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. That should score in 2 more runs. Here it comes Polanco. And did the Mariners score another one? And they do. And that's going to be Randy Arozarena. And the Mariners now take a 5-2 lead. And although Dom Canzone didn't hit the home run, he instead drives in 2 runs. Way to go, Canzone.
Yeah.
He is in the zone. And I think he did see that video, maybe on that Jumbotron, and he was like, man, I'm gonna really prove this guy wrong.
He was 0 for 3, so he was kind of due.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, Canzone. I mean, I think you were there when you saw me react to Canzone hitting that home run. I literally exploded.
I was, because what was funny is I was watching that. I was all like getting ready to go to bed because I literally had to get up at 6 o'clock. I ended up waiting that entire time, and it was past midnight.
Oh, you're ready for the Oklahoma comment?
Oh, okay.
I love it because whatever I'm doing, I'm now drawing Thunder fans. That's what I want. The next thing I want to see, I want to see this thread where Sonics fans and Oklahoma fans just fight each other. Now, here's the comment. Oklahoma is a way nicer city than Seattle. Everyone move out of Washington because the leftists and woke stuff destroy Washington, which
I'm all like, okay, I could, give a little bit there, but Oklahoma City is a nicer city.
depends. I guess it depends who you talk to. Okay, how about this? They lost season ticket holders. Mostly all their fans are moving out of Washington, watching the games in different states, and the owner bought the Sonics and moved to Oklahoma, built a new stadium. Oklahoma deserves an NBA team. He's not wrong that Seattle has become a disaster. Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a landlord in Washington and someone squats into your property or just doesn't pay rent, you're literally.
Yeah.
And I know friends that work in the eviction services, and there's a reason why they have a job is because the landlord, if they know what the steps are to evict a tenant, they will give up after like 1 second, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teresa K goes, Oklahoma's better than Washington. That's hilarious. Well, I guess it depends who you talk to, though. And it depends which person you're talking to, what they voted for, too.
But I'm also going to say Oklahoma City is not a nicer market than Seattle. It is.
I mean, Pau Gasol went around and said, Pau Gasol was like, well, they tried to get me as a free agent, and I said no because there's nothing to do.
Well, there's a reason why they're called flyover states. Oklahoma is a flyover state.
Oh, they're basically used as a pit stop.
Well, yeah, literally, it's the state that you look down while you're flying across the country and say, "Look, it's just dirt."
I guess so.
Like, it's nothing to even look at. Like, I've been through Oklahoma. There is nothing.
And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And the Mariners are continuing to get the offense going. And now Kevin Kirby's like, I don't know how Oklahoma has an NBA team, but Seattle don't. Oklahoma's much smaller, and Mark Cuban said it was too small. Well, here's the thing. When you have bad Seattle politics, anything is possible.
Also, I'm going to say this. How sports teams work is you can just sometimes get owners that just want to move a team to a certain place. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
Do you know why the Arizona Cardinals, do you know why they're in Arizona and not St. Louis?
Now here is Cole Young. Wait, why?
Because the owner wanted a better retirement place. Really, he just wanted to go to Arizona. That's
location.
It was not that St. Louis was a bad venue. No, it was actually a very good venue. He just wanted to go to Arizona.
And now here's Cole Young, and that is going to be a foul ball.
The funny thing is speaking of St. Louis, is actually after they lost the Rams, they sued the NFL and won. But it wasn't to get an NFL team back. They just wanted to sue them just to make a point.
What is going on? And now the pitch. And that is a strike 1 and 2. You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, but I've also seen something else. Sorry.
And they're showing it again. They're just trying to whack the thing. And now we're at 1 and 2 for Cole Young. Can he continue this momentum? Now the pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that is going to be a base hit, and that should score the run. Here comes Canzone, and the ball is kind of frozen at the moment. The throw to third, and that is nothing.
They're literally on
Young,
Cleveland's on their third pitcher. The Cleveland
Cole Young gets an RBI. I had to say it. And it wasn't a ground ball. It was actually a liner. Bloopers, baby.
I don't even really call Cleveland by their current name. I think the Guardians is a stupid name.
How about that? Let's
World
go.
Series, baby. We're beating the Indians. World Series, baby.
Man, I can't believe that they caved to that. And same thing with the Washington Redskins. And now the Washington football team wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you. My dad thought of a perfect name that they should have done for Washington.
Fazzardo's in the bullpen. F me.
Yes, but he thought of a perfect name. And just think about it for a second, and then it will dawn on you.
Here's Crawford. And a swing and a miss. Wait, what?
Migrant families.
That's not going to work.
Shorten it down. Shorten it down.
That's not going to fly.
motherfuckers. No joke. Think of the merchandise. They
1-1.
would sell so many, shirts.
2-1
they had to
for
go with
JP Crawford.
Tommy's?
2-1 for JP. He has a 3-hit game in this game. He's 3 for 4. Can he extend this pitch? And that's going to be swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 2. Chad is such a legend. He is a legend. World Series, baby. We need Chad again.
Yeah.
As we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and nothing doing. That's literally going nowhere.
But the Chiefs and the Braves haven't caved yet. Because there has been some people who've been
they actually tried to get rid of the tomahawk thing, but then the fans did it themselves anyway. Let's bring back Ichiro. He is 93 years old. Sounds like he just wants me to play that video again.
Oh, no. I love my suggestion that we should just bring back both the Griffies.
And the pitch? Oh, of course you say that. Outside for a ball, 1-0.
World Series, baby. Sure, senior's 75 years old.
It's okay. Griffey will steal a fly ball from him. Now the 1-0. and now here is a foul ball fouled back. And this is definitely a time for Julio Rodriguez to really step up. As we're at 1-1 for Julio Rodriguez. Yep, Reese Beast really wants that video back. As we're at 1-1 for Julio. And now the pitch. Low for a ball, 2-1.
That would be like the, Astros fans saying, oh, we should bring back Jeff Bagwell in 2008. It just wouldn't have worked. Bagwell's arm was falling off.
And now the 2-1. And that's going to be popped up. And, yep, that's going to be catching made. And that will retire the side. And, Reese, I'm doing this just for you because I like you a lot. Now, don't take that too seriously.
My point is it's across all Seattle sports. It's this idea, like people pleading 3-4 years ago to bring back Ichiro. When Ichiro's like 93 years old. I'm like, no, I do not want to bring back Ichiro. Like Griffey when he's got a walker out there and he gives you a single every 60 games. Like the list goes on and on. Like people crying, like Haniger comes back and you think that we just signed a Hall of Famer. Like he was injured all of last year. He's like 33 years old. We trade for him, give up on Robbie Ray, which whatever. And all of a sudden, I swear, all of Twitter is like, World Series, baby! Let's go! Let's go! He was a negative WAR player for them last year, but because we love Hanny, baby, he's going to come and save the Mariners.
World Series, baby! World Series!
Of course you had to do that.
Oh, it's just World Series, baby!
Oh, Reese, here's my advice to you. Cross him off then. Spring training starts in the 1st. How do you think the Indians will do? It doesn't look too good. These guys don't look too bleeping good. They're crappy.
World Series, baby!
We're almost getting back from the break.
Well, hey, Matt Brash is in.
Matt Brash, also known as Matt Not Trash.
He's got a 4-run lead. He should be able to do this.
You would hope. You would think. And the pitch. And that is a strike. And it's good to see Matt Brash back to his velocity at 97. Or he doesn't have the 100 yet. But he is still perfect so far. He has a 0.00 ERA still.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
0-1. And check swing, did he go? He did not.
If he gives up a run here, we all know who to blame.
Yeah. Blame
World
the Rooftop
Series,
Sports.
baby!
I'm thinking about just posting that thing on the anniversary.
Yeah.
On this day. World Series, baby. Maybe I should start using them as a soundbite. Now the pitch.
93-year-old Ichiro. Kirby with a walker.
I wonder if I should use that voice where every time the Mariners do something wrong, he just kind of goes, World Series, baby! Now we're at 2-1.
20 runs.
Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. I mean, everyone, I want to see if I can get Chad. I'm going to try to see if I can get him.
But
I'm going to try to see if I can get the guy.
Thinking about players, going well into their old age and still pitching at the MLB level makes me think of Jamie Moyer. Like, geez, guy was almost 50 and he was pitching.
Yeah, he had quite the longevity.
Well, the crazy fact is literally you can take
2-2.
a player from
Now here's a liner caught by Rowdy Tellez, and that's going to be 1 out.
the time of Nolan Ryan, and you can take him to Jose Altuve. Like, think about that. He literally pitched against Nolan Ryan and pitched with Nolan Ryan, and then he ended up pitching in a Rockies game where they faced the Astros with a young Jose Altuve, all in one career.
Now we've got Stephen Kwan. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And Reese Beast, I guess because you just cannot trust really anyone in the bullpen to hold even a 4-run lead at this point.
Has Brash pitched here recently?
No, I don't.
It could be you're trying to just get reps because you do need to get reps for players.
I guess so. Yeah, keep them warm.
So when it is that close game, you don't have them like super rusty and they just do really bad.
As we're at 1-1 for Kwan. And now here's a liner, and that is going to go right through J.P. Crawford for a base hit. And now we got a runner on first. We do have a double play opportunity, but this is where things could be on the line.
The Mariners do need to win this game because otherwise they will be the Rangers, I think, are still 1.5 games back.
Yeah, so Mariners, this is a very critical game, so they don't
because they won. The Angels lost, so the tie will be over with them so far. But you also just don't want to keep falling further and further behind Houston because Houston just keeps going.
And the pitch, that is outside for a ball.
Like, it's hard to count Houston out. It just keeps seeming like they keep coming back.
And that's going to be a ball. 2-0. We're at 2-0 for Manzardo. Oh, I have a game we can play together after this inning. And we're going to do it by commercial break kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out.
Immaculate Grid?
Yes, you watch this. And now here's a fly ball to left field, and here's Randy Arozarena, and he makes the catch.
And I'm going to say it. I was surprised you did not think of Randy Johnson when it was the Astros-Yankees.
I didn't do that, didn't I? Who did
Well,
I
yeah,
pick?
because I literally had that saved there because I didn't want to send it because you were, you're all like, don't send it. And I was all like, no, I have a perfect one. Randy Johnson. Because
Who
no
would
one
have thought
would
of?
guess that. Like,
Nobody would have.
People guess that.
Now, and Randy Johnson hated New York. Now the 0-2, now the pitch, not an 0-2. That's gonna be a ball.
The fact that he spent a half season in Houston, despite
Let's not remember the fact that when cameras were at Randy Johnson's face, he was literally like, "No cameras." He hated the cameras. The 1-0. That's gonna be a foul ball.
Crazy about that half season he had in Houston is he got NL Cy Young votes.
That's insane.
Yeah, the dude got NL Cy Young votes for a half season.
Yeah, because he all of a sudden got focused.
Well, and then didn't he go on to win, like, what was it? Like 4 or something like that. He won a bunch.
4 Cy Youngs, yeah. The 1-1. Low for a ball, 2-1. And remember, one of the last times when Matt Brash pitched to Jose Ramirez, he literally made him fall down and struck out. Now we're at 2-1 for Jose Ramirez. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. Now it's strike 2. And I do have Immaculate Grid ready. So how it's going to work is you'll have the whole commercial break to do it. And as soon as commercial break is over, it's over.
So I'm guessing you're doing today's Immaculate Grid.
Yep. I have it all ready to go for you as we're at 2-2. Now the pitch. And now here's a reaching pop-up. It could drop. Nope. Rosarina's going to catch it. And now let's get to that Immaculate Grid and play that game. Oh, Steve would love to play this game too. I think he'd do very well. Anyways, go.
Well, All-Star 200K season. You could do Nolan Ryan in the All-Star. No, not San Francisco. All-Star 200K.
That could be very common.
Oh no, it will be.
Oh, 7% is not bad.
Oh, actually, I thought that was going to be more common. Texas All-Star, you could do Ivan Rodriguez.
Pudge. Oh, that's pretty decent, yeah.
Okay. Trying to think of a Cardinals player that not a lot of people would think of for All-Star. Oh, 200K pitching season for Boston. Roger Clemens. Should be.
Oh, 22.
Well, no. That one was going to be a common one.
Yeah.
It's either going to be that or what was Pedro. It's probably going to be the other one.
Yeah, we're almost getting there. It's cutting it close, so you might have only like one more guess in you.
Okay. Let's think. Trying to think of a 200K pitcher from San Francisco.
Time is ticking.
Top of my head.
And time's up, and that's gonna be popped up by Cal Raleigh. And that is gonna be caught by the catcher, and that is one out. Now I gotta find that give up button, which I can't find. Now I don't even know the score.
Oh, I could have done Tin Lincecum. It would have been a super common one.
Very much so.
Well, yeah, 46%.
Yeah, way too common.
Yeah. Let's see.
Munoz is actually going to be in the bullpen. And now here is Jorge Polanco, who's 1 for 4. Now the pitch. And that is going to be a ball.
Oh, man, I should have guessed him. Adam Wainwright for the.
You got a 636. And now the pitch to Polanco. And that is a strike.
Because only 3% of people guessed him.
I've got the next one lined up for the next inning. Now we're at 1-1 for Polanco. Now the pitch. And that is a strike.
I did guess the most common for Boston 200K. It is Pedro.
1 and
most
2.
Most common for All-Star 200K is Randy Johnson.
I mean, Randy Johnson's name's been trending, so that makes sense because he just got his number retired, and he chewed out the Mariners organization, the 2-2, and that's a foul ball. And you know that dark music really puts a nice touch to it. That really dark, creepy horror music.
So I'm
now we're at 2-2.
Ooh, this one's going to be hard.
2-2 for Polanco. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep left field. And that is gone. Jorge Polanco just finally broke his home run drought that literally lasted a month, and the Mariners now take a 7-2 lead. That is his 11th home run of the season, and it is good to see Jorge Polanco actually contribute for the offense. It's been a long time since he has done that. Way to go, Jorge Polanco.
I could also now see Brash just go back out there.
Possibly with a
here, you probably should just to
save Munoz for another critical game.
Because
here's Randy Arozarena
pitched here
and the pitch,
100%.
and that is outside for a ball.
Amazingly, but he did pitch.
Jorge Polanco's got to feel relieved with that home run.
Wave the trident around some more.
Now the pitch, and that's going to be a strike. And Race B says it. World Series, baby.
We're 500. World Series, baby.
Now the pitch, and a swing and a miss, and Randy Arozarena wanted one.
But I do also like the fact that in the early years of the Houston Astros, literally their hats when they played.
And they are pulling Munoz. Munoz is going to be pulled from the bullpen.
It was literally this.
Now we're at 1-2 for Arozarena. Now the pitch. And now here's a ground ball, a little bit of a dribbler. Now the throw to first. And actually not in time as Randy Arozarena gets to first base.
Yeah, it would just be pointless to do Munoz because at least he's had some outings of late. But it would just kind of be pointless. So let's see. Can Burger King man get a Whopper?
Let's get a Whopper.
I like how I've actually set up like each level of home run. So Whopper Jr. is solo.
You know what I want to do? Do you know what I'm in a mood of? As I said, a swing and a miss. I want to jump on the time machine and go back to OG McDonald's.
Yeah.
Run by San Bernardino, Mac McDonald, and Dick McDonald. And now we're at 0-1.
Though the thing
is,
pitch. That sadly about that is even if they had continued running it,
it would have died.
Yeah, it would have. It just
and they were, and actually the deeper story is they were actually planning to retire, so they were kind of just done with it anyway. The only sucky part is 0-1, and that is a ball. The only sucky part was they just didn't get their royalties. That's the only thing they cared about at that point.
Yeah. And even then, under what happened after that, is
1-1.
Really the brand didn't start getting bad until, what was it?
I would say mid-2000s was when it started to decline.
Which had been well after, like,
I'll say Super Size Me was the turning point, but I thought Super Size Me unfairly portrayed McDonald's. I don't think it was fair to them. Now the 2-1.
Honestly, I'm going to say
a miss strike too.
It was when Mac Tonight had to be retired. Do you remember that mascot?
Yeah.
It was late 80s, early 90s, and he went all the way up until the 2000s. And what he was this character that was in a sharp dress suit, and he had a giant moon head.
That'll do it.
Well, and what it was is he actually sang a really catchy song. And it was a great ad campaign looking back on it. And they had to retire him because of a bunch of stupid people on the internet made him into a racist image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sad because, honestly, like, while he had been going away, he was still a really popular character. And when...
here's Canzone. I want to see a home run out of this.
Well, let's see. No. And
now the pitch. Now here's a liner to center field, and that's going to be a base hit. And Canzone has actually contributed. And the bobbled the ball, and it was like Cleveland Guardians have lost their focus for this game.
Yeah, they're not guarding the baseball.
Nothing pun intended there.
Well, or no. Also, have you ever seen the team store for Cleveland, like actually in the stadium? Do you know what it's called?
What?
The G Spot.
What?
Yes.
I'm sure most. I feel bad for the Cleveland fans. Like, I'm sure most of them are like, no, they're all about the Wahoo.
Well, I'm just all like, you could, like, yes, that depiction needed to be retired. It was really old.
Now
But
the 1-0 to Williamson. Swing and a
could've
miss, strike
easily
one.
Adapted that. Just do the C and have a headdress.
Now we're at 1-1 for Ben Williamson. Now the pitch, low for a ball. That's going to be 2-1 as we have 2 outs, as I'm pretty much mentally preparing to do the immaculate grid.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's 802 because 802, I'm looking at it right now, and 802 looks like I'm trying to think of players on
2-1,
these
and that's going to be a strike, and that is 2-2.
Like, jeez.
2-2 for Ben Williamson, as he is 2 for 3.
Ooh, I know this one.
And now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. So funny.
If it is 802, I got a really low percentage on one of them because I guessed it.
Yeah, it's gonna be 802, but you can play that.
Well,
as we're at 2-2 for Ben Williamson.
I'll just guess one. If you want to guess the other ones, I'll just guess one.
2-2 pitch, and now here's a grounder, and that should do it for this inning. The throw to first in time, and that's gonna retire the side. But Jorge Polanco hits a home run, and it's now time for me to play the game.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And
so
I have
the one that I guessed is pitched one game and born outside the U.S. And I got it with a guy who brings in 1%.
Yep. I'm not feeling good about this already.
Do you want to know who
No, I don't.
You'll laugh because it's funny. It really is funny.
Ooh, 9% for Manny Ramirez. Not bad.
That's good.
Born outside the United States with Tigers. Carlos Guillen. Oh, yeah.
0.8.
Yes, baby.
Now, what's the lowest percentage you've ever gotten?
0.002 or something. And it was
Yeah,
because of a Mariner player.
I've gotten 1,000th before.
Yeah, that's good.
It's really hard to get one of those because that one, honestly, you kind of have to cheat and go to Baseball Reference and just look around.
Yeah, I don't do that. I'll never do that. Reds and Tigers. Can't guess at one.
Yeah. Because those are teams that just never follow, so I have no idea.
Reds and Cleveland. That is also really tough.
Yeah.
It really is. I just can't ring a bell with that one. Oh, I got this one. Former Mariner Bob Wells. Like, who's going to know that?
Ooh.
I'll just do Denny Nagel because I'm lazy. Hey! I think I'm absolutely obliterating you on this one.
Oh yeah. Well, because I've only guessed the one because that was the only one I thought of, and it was a funny one.
Who would be this one? Just do Carlos Silva.
Oh, that's a good one. You want to know who I picked?
Who?
Albert.
Game's over. I beat you.
I literally picked Albert Pujols.
Pujols, yeah, of course. He actually pitched.
Because he did actually pitch.
And we are back from the break. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. And speak of Santana in the chat. And Ben Williamson's there, and he makes the catch. And Mariners are just 2 outs away.
Yeah.
And heads up, I do have to take off like literally right after this game. So after this game's over, unless Cleveland does something really, really stupid.
Pitches.
We're got Where are we?
Good
We
thing
have
is
one out so
he has
far.
a good cushion. He is a good cushion.
And that is a strike to Schneemann. Jorge
Okay,
Polanco being
all the other
shown.
games have finished. Wow, the Marlins scored a lot of runs against the Nationals.
0-1. And that is going to be low for a ball.
Detroit defeated Cincinnati. No surprise there. It's kind of surprising that literally Houston won their series against Detroit.
Yeah, they needed that. The 1-1. Yeah. And now here's a pop-up. And it's gonna be easy play for Canzone, who's had a terrific game. And that's gonna be 2 outs. And the Mariners are 1 out away from finally breaking their awful losing streak. They lost 3 in a row.
Sad thing is, they still need one more win to tie the Rockies in June wins.
That is pretty embarrassing.
Yep. At least it won't be double anymore.
Nope. Now here is Thomas, and now the pitch. And that is going to be a strike, and it's pretty obvious on why they put in Bizzardo and it makes sense why they pulled Matt Brash. Just one with a deficit, and 2, I mean, you got to save Brash for like another game anyway. That's if Bizzardo does not screw this up. 0-1, and that is a strike.
Well,
the reason why they like Bizzardo is because of his high velocity. That's why. So he does have the upside. The upside of the stuff is there. He's just not good.
Why are they calling a mound visit?
Not.
Why? Why are we having a mound visit?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Cal Raleigh's like, hey, man, I know you're really excited, man, but
you suck. As I always say, what do they do when they talk to the pitcher? They just
I think Bizzardo doesn't speak English, so I think he has an interpreter that he's talking to.
No. Probably,
We're at 0-2 for Thomas.
Could be like Altuve, where he just taught a bunch of his teammates at least a little bit.
And the 0-2 pitch outside for a ball, and this game just doesn't want to end quite yet.
Wow. Only 4 hits for Cleveland. 4 hits. That's embarrassing.
We're at 1-2 for Thomas, who's 0 for 3. Now the 1-2. And now here's a ground ball to J.P. Crawford. This should do it. Throw to first, and that is in time. And the Mariners take their first game of this 3-game series after trailing 2-0 off back-to-back home runs by Cleveland. Mariners then rallied back to score 7 runs to win this game. And I would say the highlight of this game was, what was our highlight? Was it the Immaculate Grid or all the jokes that we were saying? The Dom Canzone stuff?
Well, I like how this game went so long that we even had a whole conversation about Star Wars.
That is true, because this game is getting close to 3 hours, and I actually got to roll in about a couple minutes or so because I got to cut all these YouTube shorts, and I got to make a video for, well, the Pizza Man, because he's really screaming for a video, so there's that.
Top performers, Polanco, Jones, and Burger King Man.
Yeah, pretty much. J.P. Crawford was also 3 of 5, and his batting average is up to 286. Julio Rodriguez went 2 for 5 bat. Now he's at 264, but I'm still going to make a video crapping on him. Cal Raleigh is 0 for 3. Cal Raleigh has fallen apart.
Also, Julio should be playing better than that.
He really should. That's why I'm still going to make the video crapping on him. Randy Arozarena 2 for 4. Rowdy Tellez 2 for 5. Dom Canzone 2 for 5. He actually had a good game. Now he's up to 267. Ben Williamson 2 for 4. Cole Young 1 for 4. So a lot of players, almost everyone but Cal Raleigh got a hit. Yeah. So, well, anyways, I am actually going to roll, and Josh, I'll update you. Maybe the NBA Finals game is something we can do for Game 5, which I would like to do.
Yeah.
But gonna take off, and that's it, everyone. Let's go through all the people. We got William, thank you for your $10. Reese Beast, thank you for demanding World Series, baby. Kevin Kirby, thanks for commenting. TK, thanks for commenting. Teresa, thank you very much. And I think that was pretty much it. I don't know anyone else who would have commented. I think that was it.
Other than me commenting a bunch.
And there's Christian right there too. So everyone, thank you and have a great night. And go Mariners.
Go Astros.
Yeah.